Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else in between. Welcome to our seventh episode of the new You Talkshow, a show that promises incredible content with credible people. Now, my name is Frederick, and joining me are Mandd, Fernando, and Nick Isa. And we have a special guest this evening on our show, and he is the one and only Dr. James Leong. Great to have you guys on the show. And Dr. James Leong, he is the world's top Enneagram teacher and master NLP trainer. In addition to that, James is a highly sought after trainer for Ericksonian hypnotherapy. He is also a chartered management consultant. And so for tonight, we are delving into a personality related subject, which is a vital part of our career and everyday life, because personality is about self-awareness. Without self-awareness, there will not be self-mastery. And without self-mastery, it will hinder one's path to success. So let's kick off today's discussion right now. Welcome, Dr. James Leong. It's really a privilege to have you here on the show with us. And my first question for you, as a former student of yours,
thank you.
I've always wanted to ask you this question, but I've never gotten around to asking you. But what led you to the path of becoming an Enneagram teacher? Do share with us your journey as a teacher.
All right. Thank you first of all, thank you so much for having me here on this show tonight. Hear a lot of great things about you guys, and you guys are really awesome, doing good work. Yeah. So how did I start? Well, as much as I remember, since young, I was always interested in observing people, wanting to understand what motivates them, and most importantly, the other thing that I observe in people is not only the good stuff they do, but also the recklessness and things of courage and things of in moments when they're down, when they are rock bottom. How do they are able to reframe themselves and actually rise on top of their situation and to be able to thrive and prosper? And this got me thinking, how wonderful it is, if I'm able to have a good grasp of personality types, at the same time help them to achieve the things they want. And I guess some of you may be wondering, could he be a certain Enneagram type right now? Yeah. So in a certain sense, I love to motivate people to achieve their peak performance. And of course, along the way, besides the Enneagram, I first learned the DISC, which is very common. The next system that I learned is actually the MBTI, which I also got certified in. I would dare say that all these tools in the beginning, before I learned the Enneagram, gives me a very good glimpse of how and what motivates individuals towards their success. And then, much later on, when I start to take on clients one-to-one, and when I listen to some of their most heart-wrenching experiences at the, when they were really down, when their business failed, when everybody abandoned them. And that's where I start to see that, hey, there's a lot more things that I need to learn, about the inner psyche. Should I say things like shadow issues? Yeah. So many times I also discovered that successful people, especially those who are successful, they will actually go through this thing called the hero's journey. And part of the hero's journey is to address their shadow issues. And that got me searching. Is there a good tool out there that can actually, satisfy this criteria? And back then, in the late 90s, I was already, having a little bit of knowledge by buying books, Enneagram books from Amazon. And I read about it, through a recommendation of some personal development friends. And later on, of course, as most of us Enneagram teachers in the beginning, we learn a fair bit from the teachers in the West, especially USA. However, there wasn't much mention about, the originator of the Enneagram, which is, should I say, the co-creator of the Enneagram, Dr. Fernando. Mm-hmm. So what happened was, somewhere in year 2010, I was doing my MBA, my Master's in Business Administration, and I decided to take on a very interesting topic that even my professors were a little bit, what's this? So I wanted to write an MBA thesis on the Enneagram and how it can help them in their, journey as a leader. And I did my, literature search, and many of the literature search actually mentioned Dr. Claudio Naranjo, in the footnote and stuff like that. And he was the co-creator. And He passed away in 2018. God rest his soul. I really love that guy. And so after I finished my MBA thesis, I bought an air ticket to UK and I met the man face to face. Yeah, that I would say that was my true start in the Enneagram. Now, it doesn't mean that back before that, a decade before that, I wasn't learning the Enneagram. The foundation was laid out. However, going back to Dr. Claudio Naranjo was like going back to the source. And I learned in depth, it's like a graduate program, after your bachelor's, undergrad program, you go on to your graduate program. So when I went to Dr. Claudio Naranjo, wow, it was extraordinary experience. Why? Because I learned a lot of the origin of the Enneagram, and most importantly, I learned his latest addition to the Enneagram field of knowledge, which is the Enneagram subtypes. Yeah. So it was a whole big, vast space for me to explore, and I fell deeper in love with the Enneagram. And of course, yes, most importantly, one of the things I discovered when I went to my teacher, the people down there, especially my classmates, I'm talking about them, we were not looking for another certification program because there was no certification program at all. All right. It was more of a spiritual retreat. Yes, that's how Dr. Claudio Naranjo actually framed his Enneagram program. Enneagram was part of his program. There were a combination of therapeutic modalities involved as well. And basically, understanding our personality types. The next step is we're talking about transformation. That's where, Claudio's other training like Gestalt therapy, holotropic breathing, primal screaming. Well, he was able to synthesize all these things and put it together. Amazing person. Yeah. And I was very, very fortunate to be under his guidance. I give you an example. The third time I met him in the third retreat, when I got back 2 weeks later, my 20 years of eczema disappeared from my fingers. Because I had very, very bad eczema, and many a times I would have to, scratch it, it becomes dry, and next thing you know, it starts to flake and bleed the skin.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is, 2 weeks later after I came back to Singapore, I couldn't find any trace of the itchiness or the eczema anymore, and my doctor was all amazed. They thought I actually consulted a witch doctor or something like that. All I can say is that I had a very cathartic experience at a retreat held by Dr. Claudio Naranjo, and I'm very glad I'm able to continue part of his work in this part of the world here. Yeah.
So when you are there, right, what's your first question when you meet up the person in person? What your first question to ask him?
Wow. Well, the first question that I asked him, wow.
I mean, like, you want to know about, when you were there and you want to explore more, right? What were the question that you asked him?
Wow. Okay. The first question was.
Oh, you did have a lot.
There wasn't a first question. I had at least 20 questions.
Wow. Okay, those
because for one, I was quite curious. He's like a sage, up in the mountains kind of thing. He doesn't really publicize his training. There is websites about him and his research earlier on. By the way, his profile, his background is very unique. He's actually not an American gentleman. He is of Chilean, South American descent from Chile. He became a very well-known medical doctor and psychiatrist in his country. And later on, he got a Fulbright scholarship to do some of his studies at Harvard University at the Center of Personality. And of course, much later, he came across the Enneagram from a teacher. That teacher's name is called Oscar Ichazo. So that's the, should I say, the originator of the Enneagram, or at least the concept of the Enneagram. And of course, when I met Claudio, I was always interested in the origin story. For those of us who are like watching Star Wars, we always ask, what's the origin story kind of thing. And I also asked him the same question, what got him to go all the way to Chile in the Arica Desert, in another spiritual retreat, with Oscar Ichazo to learn, because before that he was already an accomplished psychiatrist and a medical doctor, well-known guy, and a professor working in one of the universities in America. So what got him to go to a shaman? By the way, Oscar Ichazo doesn't have any high qualifications, so to speak. He was more of a shaman. he intuitively was able to synthesize things and put things together. And I guess he was able to put the 9 personality types together. Of course, during those days, it was still in its very primordial form. And Claudio, being a psychiatrist and also a psychotherapist, was able to, take the skeleton and flesh it out to what we have today of the Enneagram. Yeah, so that is his contribution. And of course, a lot of the origin story is beautiful. Even right now, when I track back to Oscar Ichazo, I'm able to find, because a few years before Oscar passed away, or should I say, the decades, before Oscar passed away, 1 year after Claudio. So he actually left, I was glad, he started to, pen down his thoughts, and he came up with some works. So I'm still a student of the Enneagram. Yeah, as much as possible, I want to go back to the source before the source, and see, what's the secret of behind the secret, so to speak. Yeah, all this intrigues me. Yeah.
But then I have a very strange question now, because
that
I saw that you actually learned a lot of other personality, per se, like the Myers-Briggs and stuff. When now you master Enneagram as per se, when you look at the rest, how do you feel the rest is actually lack of the Enneagram actually trump over them?
Okay, the first thing, one of the other questions that I asked Claudio, all right, please bear with me for a moment. Another question I asked Claudio, can the Enneagram can it be used for business?
That's a very nice one.
Because when I learned it from the Americans, they already started applying it in the corporate world. That got me interested. Okay, I was learning that form of Enneagram, applications of the Enneagram in the corporate world, and back then I was very much a corporate trainer. I was interested in coaching. I help successful individuals become more successful, through the coaching and all, and my consultancy. And so I was wondering, hey, Claudio, since you got this new expansion of your work, you go deeper and you are able to, come up with 27 subtypes and all. The first question I asked him, on top of my mind is that, hey, this looks like a opportunity, to utilize it in the corporate world and to help more individuals. And what you say, James, there are a lot of other better tools out there for corporates and for business. Now, ladies and gentlemen listening in, all right, it doesn't mean that the Enneagram is not suitable for the corporate world. All right. This is my personal take. All right. Of course, my teacher will already stated his position. He just felt that Enneagram should be in the domain of psychotherapy. And of course, yes, helping individuals to overcome their shadow issues. All right. And that's great. However, when from my point of view is the shadow issues can be a stumbling block when the individual is able to, with boldness and courage, able to look at their iniquities, their shadows, and all their neuroses, okay, idiosyncrasies, and that is where I always say, I always like to say this: awareness before change, ABC. All right, it brings about an awareness, and the Enneagram is a fantastic tool for that. And today, I'm still using MBTI. I'm using other profiling system like the Big Five as well, because I find that all of them, yes, there's a fair bit of overlapping. However, every of these psychometric tests out there, including the Enneagram, all has strengths. All right, all of them have their own unique strengths, and I like to combine them, like a mixed martial artist. No point, oh, I know Kung Fu, and next thing you know, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, floor you on the ground, and next thing you know, they do a stranglehold on you, and that's it, or you are a boxer, you only know boxing. Yeah. So I also like what Abraham Maslow said. He said that if the only tool in your toolbox is a hammer, everything out there is a nail. Yeah, so I want to be able to have a toolbox, when I open it up, I got NLP, I got Enneagram, I got MBTI, I got Harrison interview, I got Hogan, I got DISC, yeah. So the most important thing is this, to be able to fluidly integrate all this, and of course to do that is not something that can be done overnight. Yeah, it takes years of practice, perseverance, and most importantly, applications. Yeah. So you can say that I'm an explorer. I like to learn new things, and as much as I like to learn new things, I also love to be able to put them. Sometimes I use the word, this phrase, torture testing.
Yeah, I like to guinea pig.
Yeah, we can take it offline. Yeah, and actually, what are some of the things that I can actually help you with, Fernando? Yes, yeah. So, back to your question, Fernando. I find that all the systems are complementary. Yeah, I won't use it like I won't say that, oh, this is bad, this is good. No. At different times, sometimes at the same time, 3 systems together are even better than one by itself.
I thought that each and every one of the personality tests actually has an objective on its own. Like the MBTI measures a certain outcome with a certain aim in mind. Enneagram also has an aim, an objective. DISC as well. They also have an objective in measuring certain traits or certain thing. What do you think about this, James? Is it true?
Very interesting question. Okay. I don't want to put MBTI on the spot. But this is what actually happened. A couple of years back, I was at SMU. Yes. So what happened was during I remember just it was like 6 years ago, was it? Yeah, I vaguely recall about 6 years ago at SMU. MBTI sent a official down, basically to address a very important issue. What happened was back then, there was, this circulation on the internet about MBTI not being accurate. If you do an MBTI test, 1 month, 2 months ago, it can be an E extroversion, a few months later, it can be introversion kind of thing. And it switched. So, an official came down, and what happened is we have a whole hall of also some local government of individuals from government bodies, especially one specific one which I shall not name. That group actually comes from a government related entity that actually helps individuals who are having mid-career switch. All right. So there's a gentleman from this entity, and he shared with the group, and with the spokesman. And he said that, well, we have tried, we have compared MBTI with another test, and I found that, and they found that the other test is more accurate in helping them to, to understand themselves better and what sort of, should I say, career pathway they should actually look into. And I like the answer, the genuine reply from this spokesperson from MBTI. Okay. So this gentleman elaborated, he says that MBTI is not for it's not to help it's not made for the purpose of helping individuals to for the career pathway. All right, that is not the appropriate tool. Okay, now some of you may beg to differ. Hey, James, I thought the story goes, Mayer and Briggs, the mother-daughter team, created this very simple profiling tool. They adapted from Carl Jung. MBTI actually came from the Carl Jung. Yeah. And in the early days, during World War II, all the men in America were, at the front line fighting, and the women were left, in America. So they were using MBTI to sort of sort them, and to see, well, what sort of jobs are they suitable for. Okay. Yeah. That was how the story goes. Correct. Yeah. However, over the years, they were better tools. Better, more statistically proven tools. Now, someone will be asking, hey, I thought last month, Straits Times newspaper article came up, more and more young people are going online to a certain portal to do an MBTI test. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun to know your MBTI. All right. It's fun to know your boyfriend's MBTI, your girlfriend's MBTI. I know of some religious organizations, they call it this premarital counseling, where they go through the MBTI with the two husband, the soon-to-be married couple, all right, to help them understand their MBTI, okay, their MBTI types, and what's their strengths, what's their quote-unquote weaknesses, and of course, how can they actually coexist and learn from one another, to succeed in the relationship. It's a good tool. Okay, it's a good simple tool for understanding individuals. And of course, if you are doing things like team building, fantastic. However, this being said, and I like to be as accurate as possible, being a professional. MBTI, Enneagram, DISC, it is not a tool for hiring and firing.
Interesting.
Okay? Yeah, it is not a tool for hiring and firing. All right, because in some countries in Europe and if I remember correctly, in the States, there are only a few tools that can be used. Meaning you can, meaning the government has approved that hey, you can give this test to the candidate and let them do the test. And most times they're testing for only one factor. All right, they are testing for one important factor: productivity. Yes, they're testing for productivity. Meaning, I don't care what's your gender. All right, I don't care what's your skin color. Right, and when you send in a resume, all right, should I call you, invite you for a interview? There are a few tests that I can actually administer. One of them that I know of is called predictive index. All right, predictive index is very good too, and it measures productivity. So that is the main criteria, because you cannot like hire and fire people, based on he's very high in introversion. Yeah, and the team here is very extroverted. No, he won't be a good fit. Hey, hello. There are many other factors, and you got to remember, at different times of the year, maybe your mood change, or you are mixed with a group of highly extroverted people, and maybe 3 months ago you take a test, you were with a very introverted group of people working with them, and your MBTI score, maybe you score high on the I, all right, and 3 months later you work in a different environment, you score high on the E. Yeah, you get what I mean? Because why? Because a lot of these tests out there, Enneagram not included, a lot of these tests out there are behavioral based. So it's behavioral based. There's a bit of flexibility down there, of course. And we are not 100% extroverted or 100% introverted. I'm sure, when you're down and sad, want to be alone, right? So during that period of time, you are more introverted, correct? Yeah. So I hope that sort of give you a good idea of what's out there in terms of the psychometrics. Yeah. And of course, there are other good ones out there like Hogan, things like identity tree. They're very, very good tests out there. Now, I guess most of the time, it boils down to how well a coach or a consultant is able to bring out the strength and the beauty of the psychometric. Yeah, because you can be certified, in the one of the so-called the most accurate tests in the world. Yeah, but you hardly use it. Yeah, and because you lack practice, right? So when you use that tool, you're not as good as somebody, who has like maybe seen use the test with 1,000 clients. Thing. So practice is important as well, and of course, must be willing to spend the time to really put the any test you are certified in, any psychometric you're certified in. It's good to go out there, use the test, administer the test, and learn from every one of your clients.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's a very good point, James. And if coming back to Enneagram, right? If you mind sharing with the audience, like the 9 types of Enneagram and what are they?
Yes. I've got a deck of slides that I spent some time. My objective is to give you a balanced view of the Enneagram. Okay. Yeah. Allow me to share screen, please.
Just share information with us.
Okay. All right. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Now, so by the way, for those of you who would like to stay in touch, please take out your phone and QR code. My QR code is there. You can actually find me, and my website and all my contact information is there. Right. This fatherly figure, gray hair fatherly figure beside me. This picture was taken in 2010 in UK. Is my belated, my late teacher, Dr. Claudio Naranjo. Fantastic guy. Yeah, he really did a lot of good for me. Yeah. What I love about him is he's very caring, very, very fatherly, and most importantly, he didn't raise his voice. Yeah, I can tell you the truth. I can be obstinate at times, in the positions I take, but he was very, very patient, to answer all the questions that I have. And I also like to give thanks to my other teacher, Robert Dukes. He was my master trainer in the world's first NLP master trainer program, and I'm very glad I was able to have the training done at the birthplace of NLP, University of California at Santa Cruz. Right. So, what is the Enneagram? Now, before you guys get a little bit spooked, looking at the Enneagram. By the way, it's not the pentagram.
It's not the devil. Huh?
Yeah.
No magic, no magic.
Let's put it in the perspective of science, okay? Psychology and neuroscience. Right? Let's look at it from this point of view. So the Enneagram is actually the word Ennea means 9, right? So gram means diagram. So it's a diagram with 9 points, and you can see from the diagram itself, it's like there's a triangle, and then there are lines joining the certain numbers. Yeah. So interestingly, when you observe the diagram, so every point or every number has 2 other lines. When you follow the lines, it lands on 2 other numbers. Okay. Yeah. So I will elaborate that in a short while about this, the beauty of the Enneagram and why this diagram was drawn in this manner. Good. So, good thing to remember is a system of understanding our uniqueness in the world. Okay, and the Enneagram is able to show you, to reveal to you this armor that we put on. Now, when I say armor, it's just like a defense mechanism. Okay, so what happens is this. I'm sure some of you have heard about this phrase, the mask that people wear. Yeah. Many a times we go into the world, we wear different masks, okay, or we take on different roles. And sometimes we have this term called code switching. Yeah. So along the way, sometimes from the Enneagram perspective, we sort of lost our way, or we were hurt by some individuals when we are growing up. And we actually developed this armor, this thick armor or defense mechanism, so to speak, right, metaphorically. Yeah? And it actually prevents us from revealing our true self. Yeah. So the study of the Enneagram as a spiritual and personal development tool is to help us to, remove the armor. All right. Remove this armor that we have put on, and to reveal the beauty in our soul. And it's also a very, very powerful tool in coaching as well. And I've been using it for almost 20 years already. Yeah. And the thing about it is this. It also identifies the limiting core beliefs that each Enneagram type has. Yeah. The beauty about the Enneagram is I was actually quite intrigued by it in the beginning. How is it that it's so accurate? And on my first visit to Cloudon and Runbo in UK back then, I was pleasantly surprised. 90% of my classmates were either psychiatrists, psychologists, or some sort of counselors. Yeah. So he was actually attracting mental health professions, and also those individuals are doing the works. And when I say doing the works, meaning they have acknowledged their limiting beliefs. They have acknowledged there's certain things in their life that they need to improve on. Yeah. So going to this retreat, the beautiful thing about going to Claudio back then is that it created this very safe sanctuary for us to explore. All right, for us to feel safe, feel safe enough to be our true self. Yeah, that's that's very important in any form of spiritual or so-called healing retreats. Okay. Yeah, and of course, I as I mentioned, I benefited. One of it is that I actually you guys won't believe it. Part of my healing of my eczema was because I actually dealt with my relationship with my mom.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. I didn't know for the longest time I was actually angry with my mom. Yeah, and we guys grew up, for those of us who as parents, or even we grew up in a foster home, we got, parental figures that we look up to. Yeah. And, they do their best to, bring us up. They do their best to clothe us, to train, to educate us, send us to some of the best schools, However, many of them, they are not trained. They are not trained to, for example, they may have some of their misgivings about certain things, or they may have beliefs that are limiting or not, or disempowering, and unconsciously as a child, because we're modeling them, right? We pick it up. All right, we pick it up. We pick up the vibes. We unconsciously observing them all the time. We pick up their idiosyncrasies. We pick up their mannerisms. Yeah, even their beliefs. So, and of course, I mean, just a quick question. How many of you had a phase in your life where you felt that you were rebellious?
Me.
Oh,
Raise your hands, raise your hand. Oh, see, everyone. Okay, everyone. Yeah, there was a phase of life that I was rebellious because I couldn't see eye to eye with my parents. All right, especially my mom. However, I grew up thinking that I was actually angry with my dad. Yeah, yeah. So, and of course, understanding the Enneagram helps me a lot because I understand. I finally understood what's my mom's Enneagram type, which I'll review in a short moment. Yeah, and her overprotectiveness towards me. Yeah, at that point in time, with the limited resources and the things going in her life, that was the best she can do for me. All right, I'm not blaming her. Okay, yeah. But anyway, this is an interesting thing I like to share. So I got back, I got back from the third retreat, and I told my mom, I realized that I was angry with her, and I list down, all the things I'm angry with her. And you know what my mom said? After a long silence, my mom stared at me and said, "Next life, when you reincarnate, look for a better mother." Yeah, yeah. My mom was really angry. Yeah. But like all moms, yeah, she's a loving mom. I know she's very well meaning. Yeah, it's just that our parents they are stuck, at a certain phase in their life, and they never outgrew the phase.
Yeah.
All right. It takes something like a self-awareness program or coaching, where they feel safe, to be themselves. All right. Otherwise, they are reactive. They're just displaying their neurotic patterns, kind of. Yeah. So, to carry on with the Enneagram. Now, knowing the Enneagram, by the way, it is not an excuse for poor performance. All right. I still remember this one time, I was actually hired to do Enneagram training for a company, in-house training. And next thing you know, the HR director was running towards me frantically. "Can you don't do Enneagram?" I asked her why.
afraid to be fired by the boss.
No. I was thinking, did somebody complain that Enneagram is a witchcraft because of the symbol? The kind of thing. No, it wasn't. What happened was a month earlier, they brought in another trainer that did DISC. So there was a certain individual in their team that was very in your face, very assertive. Okay, quote unquote, he's a high D. Yeah, very have a lot of dominance, kind of thing, and very direct in your face. So this individual, after discovering he's a high D, all right, told everybody, "Yeah, I see, it's not my fault. I'm just being myself." Yeah. So come on, guys. It is not an excuse for bad performance or poor attitude or discourteous behavior. All right. And the other thing is, it is not it's not something that after learning the Enneagram, why we fail? Yeah, because we have this Enneagram type in our team. All right. So it's also wrong. Okay. It applies to any psychometric. All right. Yeah. And of course, very importantly, the Enneagram, like MBTI and a lot of good tools out there, it can be used in a respectful manner. It's a very good collaboration tool, and it can actually maximize productivity and performance as well. Yeah. Good. So, remember this. You are not your so-called personality. Now, usually when we talk about you're not your personality, we are usually talking about the armor. Yeah, this armor that you have, to protect you from hurts and pain. Yeah. So this is a metaphor, okay? And of course, many of us, before we discover any sort of psychometric, all right, be it the Enneagram, MBTI, or Harrison assessment, where you can say that we didn't know certain things about ourselves. And many individuals, all right, when they chance upon DISC, Harrison, or even the Enneagram, upon receiving their test results, some individuals totally go into a denial. This is not me.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've seen that. You know, how can this be me? Especially when you look at the seemingly negative attributes that's listed on the test itself. All right, I mean on the report itself that you receive from after you completed the test. Now, that's the reason why I do not advocate. All right, I do not advocate individuals simply, you know, to go online, play a test, and receive the test report. Yeah, because you can interpret the test results in a manner that's not beneficial for you. All right. So let's say someone goes to Thomas, you know, and Thomas administered the Enneagram test, and Thomas, because this is a Thomas client, Thomas goes through the Enneagram test result with the individual, okay, with a fine-tooth comb, and basically explain to the individual that, hey, you know, you have certain strengths, you know, these are the shadow issues that's being uncovered, for example, and there are certain things that you can do, you know, to rise above the situation, you know, to be able to shed this so-called armor, to be able to present your true self to the world, so that so that individuals can connect with you. Yeah, I think.
Right. Is it okay if we can just go straight down into the 9 Enneagram types?
Yes.
I believe it's great to know what each type stands for. I hate to actually interrupt you here, but
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for pulling back to the
yeah, really concise in this. And
yes.
And yeah, so for this Enneagram, if we are using it in the business context, just dive down into how this can fit. I mean, the Enneagram types of, say, sales agent. That's a favorite topic of yours, I believe.
Yes. Well, I didn't prepare the slides but in particular for sales this evening. I'm giving a general overview.
Yeah, just a generic one would do.
Yeah. So before we go into the individual types, it's good to know that the Enneagram has 9 types, right? And of course, of the 9 types, there are 3 triads. All right. When you look at the diagram, what are the 3 triads? There's the gut type, meaning the type 8, 9, and 1, they belong to the gut type. And then we have the heart, and then we have the head. All right. The heart type is the Enneagram 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And the head is 5, 6, and 7. All right. So I will explain, okay, why there's this so-called separation. Okay. I won't say separation. It's more like a categorization in a short moment. So let's talk about the head part. Okay. The cephalic brain. So those individuals who are 5, 6, and 7, right? Their energy is more up here, right? And of course, we look at the nervous system itself. Interestingly, there are 50 to 100 billion nerve cells in the head. Okay, so this is a cephalic brain or the head-based types. Then we move down to the heart. Okay. By the way, scientists have discovered, the neuroscientists have discovered, we actually have 3 brains. All right, we have 3 brains. The second brain is the heart brain. All right, because we are talking about neurons. And we are talking about 30 to 120,000 neurons. Yeah. So those of you, you know, when you see something, you know, attractive, your heart beats.
Yes.
You get a feeling. Yeah. And then of course, the gut. Okay, the gut, or some individuals call it the body-based types. The 8, 9, and 1, the Enneagram type 8, 9, and 1. We have here really a lot of nerves. Neurons, that is, nerve cells, 200 to 500 million of them. And if you go down to the library or to Kinokuniya, you'll find books, you know, trust your gut. Yeah. Interesting book, right? A psychiatrist talking about trust your gut kind of thing. Yeah. So there's a lot of science behind it. So how does it link to the Enneagram? So let's start with the heart triad. Okay, the heart triad. The Enneagram 2, 3, and 4. So when we talk about the heart triad, we are talking about feelings. All right, feelings, nothing more than feelings. All right. So when we start with the Enneagram type 2. All right. Okay, I'll just give you a brief description of each one of them. So the Enneagram type 2 is that they are very encouraging, very warm, very supportive. Yeah. My teacher Claudio joked, you know, if he's a young man all over again, you know, back then I visited him in UK. He says that he will date a type 2.
Yeah.
So what about the Enneagram type 3? They are ambitious, pragmatic, and image conscious. Do I look sharp? Yeah. You got to get dressed for
Success.
And the next one is the Enneagram 4. Okay, they are very creative, sensitive to the energy, sensitive to their inner world, their feelings, and they're very expressive. Yeah. So this is the feeling group or the heart triad. Moving on. Okay, let's go into the types itself. Now, very immediately, ladies and gentlemen, I have here listed some of the possible Enneagram types. Now, to be fair, I have not met them personally. All right. And neither have I given them an Enneagram test to do. Most of the time I would watch documentaries on them, read biographies about them. If they have an autobiography, even better. So by reading their inner thoughts, on their biography, I'm more or less able to discern what Enneagram type they are. Okay. So, the fears of the Enneagram type 2. Yeah. Because they are very loving individuals. So they fear being unloved. All right. They are very compassionate, very giving, always there to listen. And to them it is because they love you so much and you don't love them back, or they feel very, very hurt. Yeah. What's their strength? Their strength is they are very helpful, very caring. Yeah. If you have a hard day, you come back home. All right. They are some of the most wonderful people to sayang you, to love you. Yeah. And they're very attuned to the emotional reality of the others. It's like they are able to stand into your shoes, go into your body to feel what you're going through. Yeah. And they're very relationship oriented. Now, what are the challenges of the two? Now, every type itself, they have their strengths. They also have their challenges. So there are challenges. Some of the challenges, they sometimes they cannot help themselves. They just want to help. They go all out to help. And sometimes they are being perceived as being intrusive. They can, at times, because they are always looking for, this approval. Yeah. They can be overly dependent on others' approval of them. Yeah. Basically they are looking for a thank you, a simple thank you. Yeah. And, let me ask you, at this point in time, can you recall some type 2s in your life? Could be a mother, for example, my question to you is, have you thanked them? To a type 2, they love to hear from your mouth the word thank you. And sometimes they can be sucked into the other person's emotion. They get too deep into the other person's emotion. Yeah. So, and I know of some individuals who actually exploit the type 2s because they are so caring, Yeah, they reach out to you and, they get, the type 2s sometimes, they become vulnerable, they get gaslighted, some individuals fell prey to love scams. Yeah. I'm just guessing, by the way. I read on the papers a lot of, love scams. When I go deeper, I sort of wonder, are those victims Enneagram type 2s?
Wonder. Yeah.
Yeah. Could be. Yeah. So what about the MBTI types? All right. Because, so for those of you who are well versed in the MBTI, so, there are 4 MBTI types that I have listed that fit the description of a type 2. Okay. Yeah. You can see something consistent among all 4 of them. Feeling. Yeah.
And one of them.
Yeah. And of course, there are, what about Big 5? For those of you who are familiar with the Big 5 factor. Oh yes, by the way, Big 5 is one of the very good tests that's scientifically validated.
Yeah. Big 5 has openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism as the test factors. Yeah.
Yes. And it is one of the tests that, if I'm not wrong, approved for hiring as well. You can actually safely administer to in countries like America, if I'm not wrong, to the candidate, as a hiring tool. Yeah. So the Big 5 factor, they are on the high agreeableness, okay, on the side of being very agreeable, and of course they are highly extroverted or extroversion.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We know about type 3.
Yes. And what about some other things? They, of course, they can be also a bit clingy and overbearing at times. Under stress. All right. Yeah, because one of the things that in Claudio's school is that because he uses it as a psychotherapeutic spiritual tool. So one of the things as a psychiatrist, he would look at stress. All right. So from the stress, the way they actually behave under stress, there are hints to what likely Enneagram types they may be. All right. So for the Enneagram type 2 under stress, they can be very clingy and a bit overbearing at times. And they may control others using guilt, blame, or shaming. Yeah, I love you so much. You don't love me. I did this for you, you know. How come you're so ungrateful? Yeah. So sometimes when you fall in love with a type 2, when they're under stress and they say these words to you, right, and you feel like singing the song, you lost that love and feeling. yeah, really. It's like, hey, what's going on, you know? And most times, guys, okay, if you have a girlfriend or a female partner, you know, who's a type 2, and for them to do something like this, boy, are they stressed. Yeah. And they may even go to the extent of collapsing in despair, you know, and they go into this mindless blaming of others, you know, for their suffering and misery. Yeah. So these are some of the things to take note of. And as any good coaches or well-meaning individuals who like to, you know, extend a helping hand to the type 2, one way to influence them, all right, it is to be personable, emotionally present. Yeah, because they belong to the feeling type, right? From their MBTI, you can see the feeling all the way. So be genuinely appreciative, especially if they have helped you. And the other thing is this: don't try to focus too much on their needs. Okay, not right away, because they give them an opportunity to give us. Because if you are working with, for example, you have a good friend or a client who's a type 2, allow them to buy you coffee first. Okay, yeah. So this is a very important tip for you guys to take note of. Now, what about in terms of coaching Enneagram type 2? So I have listed 2 very simple tips for you guys. You know, first, encourage them to have planned hours of quality me time alone. Okay, why? Because many of the times you see the type 2s running around, you know, wanting to help everyone. They are so called in you know, wanting to help everybody, but they forgot about who? They forgot about themselves. Yeah. So allow quality time for themselves. Yes. And yeah, let me share. You know, one time I actually took my client shopping and nail spa therapy. Yeah, because she was so worked up, you know, and she was like a mother hen in the corporate world, you know, and she's also the CEO, but she's very, very caring. The people love her. Her people just love her, but I can see that she's very stressed and she doesn't have enough me time to look after herself. Yeah. And next, help them to become conscious of what they are angry at and how they can make others feel guilty. All right. So this is important because there are times where when they are really stressed out, you know, they just go into this blame frame, and suddenly individuals who are around them, you know, because it's like a 180 degrees shift, you know. This is what's shared by some of my clients, female clients, in the corporate world. You know, they are Enneagram type 2s. When they are stressed, you know, they display some of this behavior behind their backs. They were called psycho bitches. Yeah.
Just
Yeah. So so this is the some of the harsh realities, you know. But more importantly, is to help the client to feel safe, to be able to look at all this, all right, and to be able to rise above the situation. Because many a times, a lot of things don't have to escalate to the point of where they're stressed. Okay, especially when they have more self-awareness. Yeah, so self-awareness is very important. Okay, good. So any type 2s around here?
Nick.
Any type 2s around here? And yeah. So Fernando, are you a type 2?
I don't think so.
I don't think so as well.
Yeah, but I don't feel like it's that sometimes I do feel that I must make the person I would not for example, I wouldn't be judged. If I really the person really cannot, then I really have to like say out loud, like no choice.
Find how to say no, Nick.
Yeah.
Okay.
But of course, I do have my my me time. Yes, nowadays I'm trying to do a lot of my me time, so it helps me to be more focused, and that's the reason why I'm a lifestyle coach. Yeah, I need to balance up. I need to plan times correctly, and that's where I think I'm more. I know what I'm doing now, basically.
Oh, by the way, I'm just going through the basic types. I haven't even covered things like subtypings and the wings, and I haven't even covered things like level of healthiness. It is a whole body of knowledge. All right, it's very vast. There's a lot of depth to it. But what I endeavor to do is to give you a nice overview. Is it okay for you guys?
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, moving to the Enneagram Type 3, the other feeling type. You can see example I gave, Oprah Winfrey, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Governator. Those who remember Sharon Stone. And for those who attended programs like
Asia Works or Landmark?
No, Landmark, yes, Landmark. The predecessor of Landmark is called S. Earnhardt Seminars and Training. Is founded by Werner Earnhardt when Enneagram Type 3. Anthony Robbins, I've a crew with him. I was his firewall assistant when he came to Singapore. I did 3 tours of crewing with him, and I met his then fiancée, Sage. Shook hands with him, thanked him for making NLP world famous. Tony Robbins is, I'm confident to say he's an Enneagram Type 3. Yeah, and of course, yeah, Tom Cruise. Yeah. The interesting thing about the Type 3s is that they fear being worthless. Yeah, they feel being perceived as worthless because they perceive. Okay, for them is that they are driven by success, validation, and attention. Yeah, because they do things to get. Okay, they do things to make themselves successful so that they can get validation and admiration and attention from those surrounding them.
So they are attention seekers, indirectly.
Well, they are more known as doers. Yeah. To them is they are very results oriented. Okay. Of course, in the Enneagram, we are always cautioned. Okay. Claudio actually cautioned us to look at the motive behind the behavior. Yeah, it's the motive. So they are doing a lot of things, but actually what they want is the attention and the validation. Yeah, but they are not that. They're not going around saying, "Hey, praise me." They're not so in your face, not in the sense. So they achieve it by working hard, maybe hitting the top sales target, and I can tell you the truth. Our sales industry is very suitable, especially in the network marketing, the insurance, and the property industry itself. You can actually see a lot of Type 3s there. Why? Because when they do well, they are rewarded for their effort. They are put on stage. The spotlight is on them, and everybody stand up and everybody cheer them on, clap them on, and validate them. Kind of thing. It's a very, very positive environment. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a recognition that they are going after also.
Yes. Yeah. And of course, what's their strength? I just mentioned it. They're very achievement oriented, and they can. Oh, the other thing is they can actually go in the room, scan the room, and instinctively identify who are those in power.
Yeah, they know the winning team straight away.
Yeah. So they just zoom in. They don't waste time. Of course, there are feedback, to individuals of Type 3. That there are sometimes individuals around them who didn't receive the attention from the Type 3 felt that they're slighted. Yeah, they feedback to the 3 and say that, hey, colloquially, they will tell the Type 3, you see me no up, is it? Yeah, or you slighted me, is it? Why? Because I'm not successful. Why? Yeah. So it's just their natural, should I say, strength to gravitate towards to gravitate towards people who are successful. Okay, and what are some of their challenges? Okay, they can be perceived as over-competitive, overworked and impatient. Yeah, they work themselves very hard. Okay, because you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. His body, he spent a lot of time since he was a teenager on his body. And he was like Mr. Olympia, 7 times?
More than that.
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure about the 8th time. Yeah, so there's actually a documentary on him on Netflix, Yeah, you can actually watch it. Very, very good documentary. I actually watched it. He started really, really young. Yeah, he went AWOL, He was serving the army in Austria. He was a tanky, he was a tank commander. You know what he did? There was a bodybuilding competition in Germany. He actually, absent without official leave, went to Germany to take part in the bodybuilding competition. and he won. Yeah, I'm not sure whether he got first place or what, but yeah, I think he came out top in one of the categories. He came back. Of course, he was punished, but everybody cheered him up. Yeah, and they can be out of touch with their emotions. Yeah, sometimes people jokingly call them human doings. Not human beings, human doings. Yeah, because they are always working towards maintaining an image, working hard, for status, for image, for success. And they can be intolerant of darker emotions. Yeah. They may, for example, if they see individuals who are, always complaining, individuals who are perceived as negative, they may stay away from them. Okay. They want to be in a crowd that's positive, success, in an environment where everybody is talking about, what's the next goal to accomplish kind of thing, what's the next milestone. Yeah. So this actually challenge them. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, they can be rather image conscious. Yeah. However, if you go into the Enneagram subtypes, one of the subtypes, they pride themselves for not being vain. Yeah. By the way, in the Enneagram, it's interesting to know every Enneagram type there is a counter type. That means they belong to that Enneagram type, but they are like a bit opposite. Yeah, certain things are just the opposite of the type itself. Okay. Later I'll give you another illustration. Now, so please don't be deceived. Not 100% of the Enneagram types are image conscious. Okay. But one thing is consistent. The hardworking aspect of the Enneagram type 3 is common amongst the 3 subtypes of the Enneagram type 3.
We are workaholics.
Yeah. So a lady may be dating you, where before she get so-called become your fiance or become your steady, they look at type 3, so successful, and then after getting to know you, becoming your fiance, the lady may say, workaholic. Yeah. Okay. Moving on very fast. How to what are the things to look out for when the Enneagram 3 is under stress? All right. They have this fear of failure and becoming extremely jealous of other success. Yeah. The 3 unknowingly they may become jealous. Extreme case, right? They may plan sabotage.
Wow,
very extreme cases. They may plan sabotage. All right. That's why they in corporate America, they have this saying: "It's a cutthroat world out there." Yeah. And during the 80s, 70s to the 80s, in fact, they did something like a survey. Some Enneagram teachers, when they go through the profiles of the top CEOs back in the 70s and 80s, a huge percentage of them are the Enneagram type 3s and the Enneagram type 8s.
Wow.
Yeah. So the Enneagram type 8 is the type is similar in like the Enneagram type 3. Both types are assertive. All right. Yeah, I will go into that in at a later part of this sharing. So to continue, they may also show when they're under stress, like they show signs of lethargy and chronic daydreaming. Yeah, they can zone out. Okay. Yeah. By the way, when you see a type 3 daydreaming, right? This is they are near burnout already. Yeah. So be careful. All right. Because on their path towards their goals and working towards their success, right? They actually sadly, they suppress a lot of their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't get in touch with their emotions, and they may get a lot of what you call psychosomatic illnesses along. Yeah, they may manifest, as pains, eczema, the rashes and stuff like that. Yeah. So many a times when they are able to address their feelings, and also take the appropriate time to rest, and also to get them to feel safe to get in touch with their emotions, to express themselves, and their vulnerability. Many a times it actually do them a lot of good. It's very cathartic, and of course, you can see type 3s from time to time feeling intensely irritated and frustrated. Why so slow? Why so inefficient?
It's all about efficiency, right? It's all about efficiency and bottom line.
Really, that's when this one definitely not me. I'm okay with a little bit slower.
So one of my previous graduate, Andrew, he's a very well-known speaker, social media guy. Yeah, so he's successful. He's very successful. I'm glad that he's on top of his game, and he's using a fair bit of Enneagram in his consulting work. Yeah.
I'm gonna
So,
here.
what about how to influence them? All right, to build rapport with the type 3, to influence the Enneagram type 3. Very importantly, to address, to praise them. Praise them for their accomplishments. Because this is something they want to hear. First time you meet them, oh, you're so successful. Well, how do you do it? Can you share with me 3 tips? How you became so successful, for example. Yeah. And they will feel very proud of it, because it's like, wow, you give me airtime, to share my success, and they feel validation. Okay. Yeah. But beyond that, very importantly, all right, be prepared when you're working with type 3, especially when you get into that conference. Right? Yeah. Talk about success, talk about results and action taking.
Oh yeah, and
they get very frustrated. The type 3s get very frustrated. There's a lot of talk, but nothing gets done.
Yeah, and I think you have to get your what do you call the sentences short also when you're talking about it.
So moving forward very fast, give them room to open up and express their true feelings. Okay, good. And how to coach a type 3? 2 tips. Challenge them constantly. Yeah, because they thrive on challenges. They are motivated by the prospect of success. There was a type 3 that I actually coached many years ago, very successful insurance gentleman. I challenge him to be vulnerable.
But that's the hardest thing, man, for a type 3.
Yeah. You know why?
It's a challenge.
Yeah. But it's a challenge, And he was like, he looked at me and, he said, ouch.
Ouch. I feel him, man.
Yeah. He just said, ouch, It's like, because he's so successful, and, okay, to some type 3s, they shared, part of their success is the ability to cut off feelings. So, because sometimes feelings get in the way of their success.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah. So help them to focus inwards and express their feelings. They don't talk enough about their feelings. Yeah. So after a while, you know the shell, but you don't know the heart of the person. Okay. So interestingly, the type 3, seemingly, not in touch with their feeling, is in the heart or the feeling group. All right. Okay. Moving on to type 4s, famous one, Johnny Depp. Okay. Yeah. Michael Jackson, who passed away, Nicolas Cage. All right. You will see that they are very, into some sort of art, acting, kind of thing. They make very, very good actors and should I say novelists. Yeah. Especially expressive arts. They have this fear of living a meaningless life. To them, whatever they do, there should be meaning.
Meaning.
Yes, meaning.
Meaning. Yeah. About feeling. Yeah.
Is there any way that maybe a person with a type 2 can also be a type 4, can also be a type?
Yes. You see the arrows?
Arrow.
The 4s and the 2s are connected, and the 4s and the 1s are also connected. Yeah. The beautiful thing about the diagram, compare the Enneagram with the other psychometrics. The Enneagram is dynamic. We actually move along the arrows under different circumstances. Yeah. So type 4 is very into their own feelings. Okay. So you can actually help them to move to the Enneagram type 2 the thing about this, don't get me wrong, the type 4s are not selfish. Okay, they are not selfish. It's just that they are perceived as being selfish. Why? Because they are so in tune with their own feelings. Sometimes it's like it's only their feelings. It seems that they're oblivious of other people's feelings sometimes. Okay. So when you are coaching a type 2, for example, you can actually help them to shift towards a 2. All right, to help them to stand in the other person's shoe for a moment to feel what the other person is feeling. Okay. So what's the strength? The strength is, before that, the meaning part, their world is deeply, emotional. All right. And they can join your sadness. Yeah. Especially when they sense sadness, they can actually gravitate towards sadness. Okay. Sometimes the type 4s, unknowingly, they seem a bit, lack of a better word to use, dark. Yeah. So I give you an example. During Claudio's training, we were divided into different tribes. Okay, tribes meaning the 9 different Enneagram types. Okay, you go to your tribe, all the type 1s gather together and share your experience, how you overcome for example, some challenges in your life. So if you're not sure, you can visit every tribe. So there are individuals who go to the type 4 tribe, and less than 5 minutes they left and came back to there's a type 3 who's not sure whether it's a 3 or 4. So he went back to the type 3 group, and then everybody looked at him. Why are you back so fast? Oh, I joined the type 4 tribe. It's too dark, I don't like the energy. The thing about them is because they sometimes they talk about things that are rather morbid, like death. Okay, yeah, because to them is death is part of life. Yeah, and life should be lived very meaningfully. Yeah. So there is this movie, Papillon. At the end of the movie, towards the end of the movie, this prisoner got a dream. In the dream, he was asked, "Are you guilty of living a meaningless life?" Yeah, and I feel Papillon is a type 4 movie. Go watch it, please. Go watch it. It's a very old movie. Yeah, and of course, their strength of type 4 is that they're very creative, very empathetic, can be idealistic as well. Yeah, yeah. And a famous singer from China, Fei Wong. Yeah, Fei Wong, she's actually a type 4, I believe. So what are their challenges? They also have envy. Envy in the sense they long for what the others have. Yeah. So it's like the grass is greener on the other side kind of thing. The kind of feeling. Sometimes, they go into this moodiness, self-absorption, feeling like an actor in their own life, and then they are wondering, when is my real life going to begin? Yeah. It's like they're stuck, in a movie of sort, and it's like rather, it's like, hey, this is not real, when's the real experience, going to materialize for them? And of course, they can be at times impatient. Okay. Yeah. So let's look at the MBTI for the type 4s. So there are 4 MBTIs there. Again, you see what's the commonality?
Yeah.
Yeah. F, okay. And there are 3 Ps there. Okay. With a J down there. Okay. What's J? Okay, guys. Those who are in MBTI, what's J?
Judging.
Judgment. Yeah. So there are type 4s that are there's a counter type to a 4. They call it the 1-to-1 or personal 4. They are more assertive. They can be perceived as more judging. Yeah.
The more angry.
Yeah. So most times, a lot of the type 4s, I'm talking about the non 1-to-1 type 4s, the subtype. I mean, they are more peace. Okay. Yeah. And they are the big 5. They are very open to experience, and they have high level of neuroticism, meaning they may be prone to sadness. Okay. So any friends who are type 4s? Any 4s here? Want to put up your hand? Usually 4s they won't shy away when they were a bit young. 4.
What do you think, man? Are you a 4?
I wonder, am I a 4?
Are you always searching for the missing piece?
I don't know what I'm missing. That's the thing.
Yeah. So that's the thing about the 4s. It's like they are longing, searching in a sense that somehow they are still searching for the meaning, or they are looking for what's missing. Yeah.
Very much like Mandd. Huh? Delete that also on social media.
And that one is a different story altogether.
Okay. Let's go on very fast to the stress. Some of the what happens when a type 4 is under stress. So they may feel there's something innately broken, and they need to fix it. Okay. I'll give you an example. Michael Jackson. He keep on going for plastic surgery, because he felt that something's not right. Something's broken. It needs to be fixed. So he overdid it, He bleached it. He was, I think he was suffering from a disease, his pigmentation, he was losing pigmentation kind of thing. And I think he went for some radiation therapy to eliminate all the melanin in his skin. And he had a lot of extreme plastic surgery until his nose dropped off. Yeah, he was using a prosthetic, Yeah. And this is the extreme, I would say in the Enneagram in general, we have 3 levels of healthiness. We got healthy, we got average, and we got usually we don't use the word unhealthy. We say that maybe low functioning. Yeah. So next point. As I mentioned, under stress they may become excessively moody, depressed, tormented, fragile, and of course they also may be highly aggressive. Okay. Yeah. And they may, okay, I've seen this before. My type 4 friends, some of them became moody, you know, and they just delete all their social media. I won't say delete, okay. Some of them didn't delete. What they do is that they just deactivate. Yeah, they deactivate their social media. Yeah, for months, you know, and we were searching high and low, you know, it's like they disappear from the surface of the earth kind of thing, you know. Yeah, so they it's like a recluse, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Michael Jackson in his little, what's his place called? His home?
Netherlands.
Yes, Neverland.
Neverland, yeah.
Like Peter Pan, you know, Neverland. Yeah. So, and of course, when you go into this kind of seclusion, people start making up stories. Okay. Yeah. And people start accusing him of being a pedophile, you know. Yeah. I felt sad for him. Yeah. And his songs, I really love his songs. You know his song, Have You Seen My Playground?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a number of Michael Jackson fans here.
Yeah, they have a lot of good songs.
Yeah, there's a lot of very, very touching songs that touches my soul. Yeah. Very authentic part of him I can identify with. And of course, the type 4s, they just love to listen to good stories. If you are a very good storyteller, yeah, you can be sure that you have their attention. All right. And please never judge them at times, you know. Because you see, when you judge a type 4, especially about their creations, they get very upset because they feel that their creation can be art, their acting, their craft, or something they create, right? It's an extension of them.
Yes.
No one has the right to judge except themselves. Yeah. So this is a little bit about the type 4s. Take note of it. All right. Yeah, Rahusha, a good friend of mine who became one of my supporters and my early students. He launched this community called Up Your Game Community.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, really swell guy, you know. He came to me and he was surprised. I didn't give him any special treatment. He was because sometimes the type 4s, they have this thing about them, you know. They at times deep inside they want to be treated special. Yeah. So he told me after he signed up for my program, he says that, James, I came to you, you did the presentation, you laid the facts and all, what are the benefits of the program, what I can do with the program, and how I can help others. And then you stop there, and then you let me leave. He didn't even ask me, he didn't ask for the same. Yeah. And he was puzzled. Okay. But he came back to me. Yeah. So, but I love supporting him because he's really, really authentic, right? And of course, how to coach a type 4. Indicate to your type 4 client, his or her, point out to them, okay, gently, and with compassion. His or her preoccupation of what is not present and unlovable. Because sometimes they can long for things that are just not present. Okay? Yeah. And they need to manage their emotional ups and downs. Okay? Because they go by feelings. And I also have at one time I became by the way, I was helping a group of dating coaches. Yeah. You can just go through my Facebook and see I help some well-known dating coaches in the dating community in the early days. And some of their clients are type 4s, and I sat down with them. Some of them shared, you know. I asked them, do you have in your relationship when you're dating, do you have this push-pull kind of relationship? Yeah. Meaning, it's like push-pull is like this, you know. Oh, I love you. No, go away. I love you. And go away. And I think it's like I push you away, then after that I want you back. I push you away, I want you back.
Like,
Yeah. No, not really. Because it's partly due to their ups and downs in their emotions. Okay. Yeah. And to love a type 4, you really need to have a lot of compassion, and I guess to love a type 4 is a real commitment.
Yeah, you must be on your ball, on your ground to make sure that's up to his standards or her standards.
I think the word is being mindful and grounded. Their ideal partner should be grounded and very grounded and very self-aware. And of course, coach them to find the middle ground. Okay, not too extreme, like, you know. And the other thing is this, you know, there'll be definitely moments where they feel angry or they feel hurt, kind of thing, you know, and they go into withdrawal. Okay, if you're a professional coach, you're helping them, especially in their career. Hey, you must remind them, you know. Okay, you cannot do the disappearing act. Your client may be sued. Yeah, because imagine, you sign a contract, you're artist, you're supposed to show up, and then on the day itself, the media is there, the paparazzi is there, the champagne is there, and next thing the star don't show up because it's what I'm for. Hey, no way. Okay. Yeah. Were there times that these things happens? Yes. Look at Michael Jackson. Yeah. Look at his some of his career, the ups and downs. Yeah. All right. And look at some of the type 4s, because you can see many examples of them, especially in Hollywood. Right. Now, again, there are many type 4s who has risen above. All right. Their so-called their armor. Okay. They have so-called, I think the phrase is called this armor. They have this armor themselves. They have dealt with their hurts. They have looked at themselves honestly, yeah, and they have moved and rise above their situation. Okay, a very good example, Johnny Depp. All right, very highly functional. Okay, Pirates of the Caribbean, Johnny Depp. All right, very profitable franchise. And after and in his off days, he will dress up as Captain Jack Sparrows and visit patients who are in the hospital. What happens? He's basically from 4 goes to 2. All right, and when the 4 goes to 2, they also tend to be philanthropic. All right, they tend to be very helpful. Start to care about those who are so-called, not in a good state or good phase in their life. They go there and cheer them up. Yeah, so you can see that in Johnny Depp. Good.
Okay, so we're moving on to the thinking triad. Really.
Yes, the thinking triad. Yes.
Okay, James, I guess you need to be a bit more concise.
Yes. So the Enneagram 5, okay, they are perceptive, analytical, and very curious to find out how things work and why things are. And of course, the Enneagram 6, they are responsible, trustworthy, and very loyal. They make a very good team player. And the 7s, woohoo! Okay, the 7s, you love them because they are the CEO, not chief. Not the chief executive. We are talking about chief entertainment officer. In the corporate world, they are called the chief entertainment officer. Why? Because they are very spontaneous, fun-loving, and optimistic. And let's start with the 5. Okay, we have Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking, Bill Gates, Stephen King. I love his works. Daniel Day-Lewis. In fact, Daniel Day-Lewis specialized in a form of acting called method acting. You know method acting? Method acting is actually a very type 5 kind of acting process. Okay, that brings up the character. It's very type 5. And what about the type 5s? Their fear. They fear being useless and helpless. In a sense, what do you mean? Okay, their world is intellectual. All right, their world is rather intellectual instead of emotional. In a sense, they are like opposite of the 4. The 4 are more on the feeling side. This 5 is on the intellectual side, thinking side.
Super analytical.
They are strengths, okay? They're very scholarly, very analytical, and very self-reliant. Oh, by the way, my teacher, Claudia Naranjo, is a 5. Yeah. And one of the things, one of the questions that my classmate, not me, but I was also entertaining this question. At his stage in life, when I met him, he was in his early 80s. We asked him, Claudio, over the years, have you become more type 7, sorry. You see the 5 actually goes to 7. 5 go to 7. Yeah, so when 5 go to 7, right, they become more light-hearted, they become more creative, they expand their boundaries and they laugh a lot, they enjoy themselves and they're more spontaneous. However, you know what Claudio said? I'm so sorry, I got it wrong. He replied, okay, I remember right now, so sorry, let me correct myself. We were expecting him to go to 7. Yes, we were expecting him to go to 7. 5 go to 7, to be spontaneous and all. No, I got it wrong. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so, okay. In the Enneagram world, from Claudio's earliest work, there's this thing called stress points and growth points. All right.
I remember that.
It was in Claudio's earlier works. So, the 2 points, right, of the 7 and 8, okay? When a 5 goes to 8, it's supposed to be the growth point.
Yep.
Okay. Ideally, in the Enneagram world, until I went to Claudio, in the Western world where Enneagram was taught, we were always taught that no, avoid the stress point at all costs. Go to the, move towards the growth point, which is 5 go 8. All right. So, what happened was we were expecting Claudio, at this stage in his life, his level of development and years of development, he would have gone from 5 to 8, right? His answer surprised us. He said that he has become more 7. All right. To the Chinese, okay, for the Asian Chinese, you have a phrase for it, 師傅走火入魔. Literal translation. The devil has entered the soul of my master. Welcome to the dark side. Yeah. So it's like, wow, my teacher went to the dark side, is it? Or 5 go to 7. Okay, no. And then Claudio was, he saw the puzzled expression on our face and the shock was so he asked us, guys, what's wrong? You seem, you don't seem to be happy with the answer I gave you and you seem surprised. Why? So, one of my, friend from Holland, he's an 8. Okay. So he was the most bold among all of them. He said, Claudio, you say in your books that, when a 5 go to 8, actually there's a stress point. You shouldn't, when a 5 go to 7, okay, when a 5 go to 7, there's a stress point. You shouldn't go to the stress point. Yeah. Then, of course, then Claudio laughed, he says, oh, that was my hypothesis back then. What's hypothesis? My theory. Because the Enneagram, back then, there was no books. So Claudio was one of the earlier people who came out with the books and he fleshed it out. And he's a psychiatrist, psychologist. And he based a lot of his Enneagram on the DSM as well. Okay? The Bible of mental disorders, right? So interestingly, he became more 7. And he what's the effect? The effect is towards this stage of his life back then, he was actually enjoying himself more, making more money. Yeah. From a 5 go 7, he was actually enjoying himself and making a lot more money, and he's very happy about it. And he corrected us. There's no such thing as a stress point. There's only he replaced the previous stress point. He used this phrase. He called it the opportunity for growth. All right. So moving on very fast. What's the challenges of a 5? They are isolated, withholding themselves from others. Okay, and emotionally detached. Not good at having a relationship. Yeah. And they have this thing about avarice. Avarice, like they have this hoarding. They want to hoard money, hoard personal. They hold back the personal giving of their emotions and their time. Okay, part of it is due to this because they are very wise. Okay? They are information gatherers. Yeah, they're also very good problem solvers, by the way. So many individuals actually, go to them and for advice. Okay, and I've seen it before. Towards the end of Claudio's life at the part 4 of the seminar, what he says? Guys, I'm very tired. For the last 40 years, everybody has been asking me Enneagram this, Enneagram that. I want to take a break. Yeah, and every time, we meet Claudio in the dining hall, during our breaks or our lunch, our meal time, people will approach him and ask him about the Enneagram. Okay, I'm one of them, guilty as charged. But he will entertain, okay? I'm very grateful for his gracefulness, graciousness, all right? And of course, the MBTI type, okay? You will see, what's the common thing about the 5?
And
The T.
T. What's T?
Thinking.
Thinking. Yes, they are thinkers. All right, the 5s are also called thinkers. They are very high on the big 5. Okay, they are very high on openness to experience. Yeah. Okay, and but they are low on extroversion. Claudio, I was very glad. Over the years became more type 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I have a new revelation about the Enneagram. Yeah, because I can tell you the truth. I've been coaching for 10 over years before I met Claudio. Before I met Claudio, I was telling my clients, don't go to the stress point. But you know what happens? My clients didn't listen, thank God, and they make more money. Why? Because they went to the stress point, they used the NLP and the coaching methodology that I helped them with. They were able to be on top of the situation and overcome a lot of challenges. Therefore, they deserve to make more money. So that's the reason why Claudio mentioned that the so-called stress point that he hypothesized many years back is now called the opportunity for growth. Good. What about identifying the 5s under stress? Okay. When they are stressed, they can cut off from the social world because they believe that it's by the way, it may not be true. They are actually hallucinating that someone wants to harm them. Yeah. And their friendship, okay, friendships may be severed after a heated argument with no clear solutions. Yeah. So these are some of the observations. And of course, they may have a distorted sense of their intellectual superiority. All right. Yeah. So it's like, I got some special knowledge. You must find me, look up to me, that kind of thing. So in a certain sense, by the way, they're not trees. They are not looking for fame, that kind of thing. They are looking at, come and admire me because I have some special knowledge, for example. Okay, and I'm able to process things differently from others. They perceive themselves as more superior intellectual. Right? So,
Thomas, are you one of them?
By the way, I met a fair number of them from A-Star. Yeah, star scholars. One of them is a former client of mine. So it's a 5. I'm very glad. Okay, over the years he became more 7. Yeah. After he left A star, he became a lecturer. And he took a less responsibility, as a lecturer. And right now he's having fun. And he last time I met him, he jokingly said this to me. I'm looking to forward to see who among my students, okay, who amongst them will one fine day be my boss. Yeah, good sense of humor, very good sense of humor. And the thing about 5, how to influence them. 5 may find it difficult to access their emotions, their feelings. So the best way to help them feel is to encourage them to share their experience, get them to narrate, get them to talk. Okay, because when they start talking, right, it involves their thinking, right? Okay, when they think about it, they talk about it. As they talk, right, and they go into their emotions. It helps them to ease into their emotions. All right, because many a times, when you ask a 5, how do you feel? Feel, or their feel when they describe the feeling, right, is rather cognitive. Yeah, and motivate them to act on their actions. Okay, I met 5s who are also they're highly intellectual. They have a lot of things planned out, but they never execute. It's like stuck in the head. We commonly call it what? Paralysis by
Thinking paralysis.
Yeah, thinking paralysis or paralysis by analysis. Okay, sometimes they overthink.
Yeah.
And coaching the 5. Yeah, help them to reframe their commitment as a gain instead of a loss. Yeah, because many a times they don't want to volunteer so much of their time. They don't want to take up so much responsibility because they felt that their energy is being expended. So sometimes they want to conserve it, and they may see it as a loss. So it's important for you, especially when you're executive coach, to help them to see it, help them to frame it as, hey, it's an opportunity for you to go out there, and to especially go to the 5 go to 7, have fun, all right, explore and see what else you can synthesize from your experience. Yeah, see it as a gain, okay, and very importantly, as I mentioned earlier on, motivate the 5 to act on their plans. When I say that, it's also 5 going to the 8. 8 is also the part where they take action. They become very resolved, They stand on their ground, say that, okay, I decided this is the way to go about it. I want it done this way. Okay, 5 go to 8 is also it helps them in taking action. Okay,
Good.
This is closer to me. Closer to me.
Good.
Because when I procrastinate way before, if I really procrastinate until I don't know what to do.
Okay, moving on very fast.
Yep.
The Enneagram 6, okay, famous Enneagram type 6, Ellen DeGeneres. By the way, she's a very good stand-up comedian. Some individuals find that her humor is rather dry. It's not very explicit, yeah. But nonetheless, she's good at what she's doing. Okay. Examples of other type 6s. A very, very famous guy, Sigmund Freud. Yeah, Enneagram type 6. Yeah. Mel Gibson, Enneagram type 6. Now, I cannot be 100% sure, of course, but I'm talking about reading their biography, reading, especially, paying attention to the news when they are under stress. All right. I know some individuals like, hey, why, James, why keep on mentioning about stress? The interesting thing about the Enneagram is this. If you just look at the mask that people in general they wear, all right, you won't be able to tell a lot of things. But usually when the individuals under stress, there are telltale signs. Okay, and some individuals, especially the high-profile ones, there are reports about them in the news, there are articles written about them, and these are all clues. All right. Of course, the next best thing is to have an interview with them. Then further down would be, if you cannot get them, you cannot have access to them, you just pray hard, please go and do an Enneagram test and tell the whole world what Enneagram type you are. Okay, good. Let's continue. All right. The 6, okay, they fear being abandoned. Right? They fear being abandoned. They, in general, they're very loyal people. They are like a herd, a herd. They have this herd mentality. They find safety in numbers, the type 6s. They will stick with you through thin and thin, when you have won their loyalty. Okay. They make very good team players. And their strengths, they bond very well with others over a long period of time, especially after you have won their trust. And they're very attentive. Okay, attentive in this situation. They're always looking out for danger. They are anticipating what can go wrong, and they are preempting. Sometimes they are like thinking 3 steps. Okay, what's the worst case scenario, and they're planning a contingency plan. Right. Now for sales. Okay, for sales. Frankly, I like to hear the opinion of for insurance advisors. I like to hear the opinion of type 6. You know why? Because they anticipate all the things that can go wrong and they plan very nicely. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that only buy from type 6. Okay. But one of the reasons why I love to listen to type 6 sales professionals is because of this trait about them. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on very fast. Yeah, challenges.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they keep looking for danger, they keep on anticipating. Sometimes they can procrastinate, right? Because they're fearful. And they fear that something will not turn out right, for example, and they can be reactive at times, and they're always, doubting their decisions. And let's look at the MBTI types.
They are more J, judgment.
Yes, there's a J down there. Surprisingly, the J can be judging their own judgment, judging their own decisions. They can also turn their judgment against their
superior
leader that is leading them. Okay, when I say leader means this, the leader has proven himself or herself beyond a shadow of doubt is he or she is a good leader. Okay, they are following this leader. But yet, deep down inside, they have this trust issue with the leader. Yeah, at the back, behind the leader, they may say things about the leader that's not so pleasant. Okay, I think there's a phrase for it. They murmur. Yeah, they murmur, quietly, and they ask others, what do you think about the leader? Are you sure? That kind of thing. So, it's a trust issue, basically. It's because they are fearful. All right. And, in terms of the big five, we got to look at it. You see the word counterphobic down, second one. Okay. Let's start with the first one. Low neuroticism. Okay. These are the phobic type 6. Okay. The phobic type 6 are I'm talking about in general. Phobic means, these type 6s, I'm talking about in general, they are always looking out for danger, they are anticipating, they are fearful. All right. I'm talking about in general. The phobic ones, their neuroticism is rather low. However, for the counterphobic type, the counterphobic is a bit different from the 6s. The 6s in general tend to be a bit fearful, they hold back. The counterphobic type is like it's the opposite. It can be assertive. They prefer to, okay, I'm afraid, but I'm going to take the bull by the horn. I'm going to confront it. Okay, and basically this neuroticism drives them to confront the issue. Yeah, and they have a high conscientiousness. Okay, now you can see the JJJ down there, the MBTI. Interestingly, yeah. Good. Any discussion so far? Any type 6s here, or of any type 6s or working with type 6?
Very see.
Okay, under stress, what happens? They project their insecurities onto others and accuse the other party they have done something wrong. It can be a figment of their imagination. Yeah. So sometimes it's like, hey, where did it come from? Okay, I that happened to me before. I was at Clouder's seminar, and we were supposed to do a certain things together, organize certain things, and next thing you know, these type 6s came up to me and accused me of certain things, and I was like, huh? Where did they come from? And my friend, my good friend, who's an Enneagram type 5, just told me this, leave her alone, she's just acting out her neurosis. Yeah. Okay. So she's just not aware during that period. Okay. And next is, of course, under stress, they become extremely suspicious of everyone around them. And very importantly, this part you can take note of, they go around seeking support and comfort, but find little because they would reject anyone who disagree with their perspective. So they will go around asking, basically they're asking, hey, do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? The moment you say you don't agree, right? They start to move. Yeah, they start to move away. Yeah, because they are looking for safety in numbers. Right? And how to influence a type 6? Make an effort to understand their concerns. Yeah, I many times when especially when I'm coaching a type 6, I ask them, I ask them a simple question. I appreciate the fact that you're anticipating all these things, and but moving forward, and we have a deadline. Can we future pace a little bit? What's the worst that can happen? Yeah, bring their concerns to the forefront. Okay, is there a real concern? And sometimes sit down with them to think through the concerns. Okay, because they are looking for what? Assurance. Okay, and be a partner to them. Right, when you're coaching them, especially, or their friend, be a partner, not an authoritative figure. Because I mentioned the J part, right? The MBTI J is very high. So when you do the authority thing, right, they start to judge you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Be mindful of that. and provide enough of a safe environment for them to relax their mental scanning. Okay, when I say mental scanning, it's like this. This is the metaphor pertaining to the Enneagram type 6s. They are like zebras. You know, zebras got stripes. They're in the tall grass, you know, they are well camouflaged in the tall grass, hidden, you know, and because of their stripes, you know, they blend in very well with the tall grass. You know what happened? But the zebra is still very careful, very fearful, and always scanning for danger. Yeah. So they sort of created a metaphor, you know. If there's an animal that can represent a type 6, that would be a giraffe. Sorry, not giraffe, zebra.
Zebra.
Zebra. Yes, zebra. The zebra and the stripes. Yeah. Okay. So this is pretty interesting. Okay. They're always scanning, and sometimes when they sit down with you, right, you can see the fear in their body language and their eyes. You know, they're always looking around. Okay. Yeah. And most times I mean, from my observation, they don't hide it well. Yeah. And coaching them, help them to evaluate their doubting process. Sometimes I will joke with them, you know, in a very playful manner. Are you sure enough to be unsure? Yeah. But this is a joke, but it lightens the atmosphere. Okay? Oh, by the way, type 6s in general have a good sense of humor. All right, type 6s have a good sense of humor, provided you don't appeal to them as an authority. All right, yeah, assist them to relax their anxiety and of course the past mistrust of others. Always, you know, when you sit down with a 6, address their anxiety as soon as possible.
Okay.
Good. All right.
Mhm.
Coming to the 7 also belongs to the head. Okay. By the way, these are all thinkers. All right. Yeah, thinkers. The 5 is think until paralyzed. The 6 is think. They just think and they anticipate what can go wrong. Okay. The 7s are very interesting. Okay. Example. A favorite of mine is Anita Roderick. Dame Anita Roderick, the former, she passed away already. She's type 7. She owns. She started Body Shop, and one of her vision. Okay, sorry. Her motto in life is this. I think I cannot remember exactly what she said, but she mentioned this. You know, wouldn't it be sad, you know, if you go to work and you're not happy? Yeah, and you look at Richard Branson. He's a true. I feel that he's a true blue type 7. He's always talking about fun. Yeah, and he's talking about innovating, thinking outside the box, and then he come up with a book. F it, just do it. Yeah, and he do a lot of outlandish things to whenever he launch a new business. Okay, yeah, he's a real mismatcher. So the thing about the 7s, what is their fear? They have this fear about being deprived. Deprived of what? Experience. Okay. To them is that they are looking for variety. So if you deprive them of that variety, they get very uncomfortable. And a lot of times they're also avoiding pain and they're seeking fun, stimulation, and variety. All right. So by the way, when we talk about variety, right, it can be drugs. Okay, on the negative side, it can be drugs. Okay, it can be binging, you know, drinking excessive alcohol, sex addiction.
Yeah.
And please go and read biography of Richard Branson, how he lost his first wife. He was into wife swapping.
Oh,
Yeah, he was his wife fell in love with the guy from the other couple and left him for the other guy. His current wife is the second wife. Yeah. So there were indulgences. Okay. But it comes with a lot of strengths, the 7s, you know. Type 7, especially entrepreneurs, wow, they bring a lot of optimism, fun-loving, and positive vision. Okay. You go on YouTube, you know, look at some of the commercials of Virgin Atlantic, you know, the airline, you know, very interesting commercials they have. Okay. Even simple things like putting on a seatbelt. They created a very good skit. And I mean, you look at his stories, you know, he's like a true blue type 7 story. Okay, another thing I find it interesting when I'm coaching type 7s. I would ask them, you know, hey, if you identify with a certain Enneagram type, find a successful Enneagram type, okay, of the same Enneagram type as you, buy their biography or buy books about them, or especially autobiography, read about them. So I was coaching this back then, a couple of years back, I was coaching this very successful realtor. And one fine day, you know, after the coaching session, she took my advice. She bought Richard Branson's book. She's a 7 herself, Enneagram type 7. And she read the book. When she finished the book, she texted me, you know what she said? Sifu, unbelievable. It's like reading about myself being successful, but I'm not successful yet.
Motivation to learn about the people are the same type.
Because if they are the same type, right, their motivation and their way of solving problems and taking on life challenges should be similar. Right? If you're talking about NLP, about modeling success, right? Okay, for following the trail of success, modeling somebody. Imagine, okay, you model somebody of the same type as you, same personality type as you. Basically, they are in a way wired the same way, the way they solve problems, the way they look at the world, right? I'm talking about in general. Wouldn't it be easier to learn from their failures and also their successes?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've written books. Come on, they're giving you their success secrets in a less than $40 book. Buy it. Invest in your own success, right? It's one of the challenges of sevens. Okay, and it comes with their own set of challenges as well. They can be scattered. They can be all over the place, taking up too many projects at one time. All right, they can be impulsive at times. They have this gluttony for experience. Everything also want to try. Kind of thing. I look at Richard Branson. He mentioned this. In his book. He started. You guess how many enterprising activity he started? Enterprising business he started. Take a guess.
More than 30.
More than 100.
More than 100.
Wow.
Yeah. But most times, right, within the first 2 years, if it's not making money, he will just divest or shut it down.
Oh.
To him, okay, the 7 is innate to a type 7 strategy as an entrepreneur. Because to them, the 7 is, hey, why prolong the pain? If it's not making money, do something with it, let it go, or sell it, or just close it. Yeah, why prolong the pain?
Yeah.
All right. Let's look at the other thing, last part of the challenges. They have a lot of charm. Okay, they have a lot of charm. They can disarm and a lot of people. All right, and interesting thing about type 7s, they make, because they are of all the Enneagram types. I'm talking about in general. Of all the Enneagram types, the 7 are very good storytellers. Yeah, and they're very persuasive. They make very, very good direct sales professionals.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, I in one class, after going through my Enneagram classes I think it was Rahul. Yeah, Rahul was formerly in advertising, and he I think I remember he said this. A lot of advertisements are targeted at type 7s. Very simple, because they are looking for experience. If you want people who are ready to spend money, go for the 7s.
That's true.
Okay, makes sense, right? Yeah. You heard of this thing called seminar junkies?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of seven, you see a lot of type 7s in the seminars. Jumping from seminar to seminar. All right. I'm not saying that it didn't benefit them, because they are looking for an experience.
Yep.
Okay. Now let's look at the MBTI. What's common among the MBTI? What letter is common?
Or P.
Yes.
They're all extroverts.
Yeah. P means, what does P means?
Perceive or something. Yes.
Yeah, they're not judging. That means their time can be, okay, for example, when it comes to time management, they can be very rubber, very flexible. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes they, to them is, they like things to be a bit, flexible. They like a lot of flexibility. Okay. Yeah. And, of course, the big 5 is self-explanatory. They are highly extroversion on the highly extroversion side, high openness to experience. By the way, these 2 traits, right? According to MBTI, they have enough data. These are 2 important traits for good entrepreneurs. Yeah, entrepreneurs must be open to ideas, right?
Yes.
Yeah, open to ideas. Come on, you cannot be, it didn't work. Okay, let's go and find a job. Another interesting fact, a few years ago I read in the UK, it's a UK news article. I was looking for evidence of type 7 entrepreneurs, and because I was reading about Richard Branson, I was also looking for case studies. In fact, I do not know whether there's a clear correlationship, but it seems that a lot of entrepreneurs, type 7 entrepreneurs in UK, they run afoul of the law quite frequently.
Wow.
Yeah, because they are always experimenting, pushing the limit of the law sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's entrepreneurship. Okay. Entrepreneurs are expected to exploit opportunities. Right. And sometimes you get on the wrong side of the law.
Yep.
Yeah. Read about Richard Branson when he was young. He actually tried to cheat the insurance company. He sent a crate of CDs with no CDs inside. Okay. Yeah. So he got caught, unfortunately. Yeah. And the thing about the stress, when it comes down to the stress part, no matter how optimistic, we're still human. The 7s are also human. They do feel stress. when they are highly stressed out, they no longer self-reflect. Okay, and that's very dangerous. Not willing to be responsible for their outcomes and of their choices, actions, and behavior. All right, it is very sad. Okay, because it can also affect their personal relationship. I've seen low functioning type 7s who has multiple relationship with members of the opposite gender. Yeah. Okay. The moment the partner is unhappy about them, start to point out their issues, the 7s run away. Yeah. Why? Because they are they may be under stress, and they no longer self-reflect. Yeah. So this is a time where especially if you're a coach, you need to ground them. You need to hold space for them to feel safe to explore all the painful things that they need to work out. Yeah. So this is the secret of coaching a 7. Okay. And the other thing is when they are stressed, right? It can be skeptical. Okay. Yeah. And sometimes they go into a little bit of irrationality. Okay. And they have this thing. The last one is that they may go into bouts of depression. Okay. You may see this. They may be happy one moment, sad another moment, next moment happy again, sad again. They go through this cycle when they're under stress.
Interesting.
All right. So this is something to take note of. These are signs of stress of the type 7. And when you see that in your colleagues, it's good to inquire what happened to them. What's happening? Show a bit of, double check, care and concern.
Yeah.
All right. So care and concern. Okay. Next part. Oops. Famous type 7.
Hey, our friend.
Yeah. My very good friend Samson is a type 7. So he did very well. Okay, after my training, he made $250,000 in his business. He's a wonderful type 7 MC and all. And please, if you know him, ask him to share about his success stories. The moments where he felt broken, where he was able to overcome his challenges and became more successful.
Yeah, we will get him.
We will definitely get him to share.
Yeah.
I was hoping that he's watching this, man. Really.
And
just tag him in this show.
And how to influence a type 7.
Right.
Okay, much of match their zeal and energy because they're very energetic. So I know for some Enneagram types, there's some coaches, they belong to the 4, 5, and 9. Okay, Enneagram 4, 5, and 9. They usually more subdue their energy. Yeah. So I don't expect you to be matching them 100%, but at least go up a few notches. Okay. Yeah. Mirror them, and try your best. Try your best to go up a few notches. Don't have to be 100% of theirs, but match their energy. We basically are matching and mirroring, and be playful and inventive and enthusiastic. Okay, because to them is if you haven't built the rapport yet, and you straight away stick it in them, right? All the painful stuff, they will just avoid. Good. And yes,
I happened to talk to the wife, but I think she gave me a lot of space to him. That's why I think, it was good. It was good. Yeah.
And of course, the 7s need a lot of latitude. Yeah, you're right. And give them lots of space. Yeah. 7s hate to be boxed in. Ask lots of questions. They love to talk. Yeah. This is another very dear student of mine, Joyce. She's a very good teacher, mathematics teacher. And she did a lot of good work, in public schools. And she helped. She always liked to take up the challenge of helping students who are underperforming in their studies. So she will always explore creative ways to help them. Yeah. Fantastic teacher. How to coach a 7. Okay. After you build the rapport and the trust, like, and able to hold space for them, gently, all right, highlight their avoidance pattern, because many a times they're running away from their pain, running away from the issues. It can be a problem at work. It can be a problem in their relationship. Okay. So you need to ground them. You need to help them to be courageous and not be fearful and run away. Okay. Be courageous to look fear in the eye, and to usually what I do is that I'll help them to divide and conquer, because sometimes they have too many things juggling there. So I help them to solve the problem one at a time. And if the problem is too complex, help them to break it into parts. Okay, good. And support them in staying grounded and finishing the project at hand before moving to brainstorm others. All right. Many a times, those 7s who are coached by my BA, I'm not so cruel. I won't tell them, hey, you must limit yourself to only one project at a time. That's a bit cruel to a 7. I will tell them, realistically ask them, how many can you handle? Most times, okay, my clients will tell me, the type 7 clients will tell me they can only handle 3. Most times. All right, work on the 3. Okay, and I always ask them also, do you have help? Okay, because type 7s, ideally, they need a team because many a times they are very brilliant with coming up with the ideas and kickstarting something, but when it comes to finishing it, right, it's better to have a team to help them out. Okay, oh, good. All right. Okay, we are moving to the last one. Yes, the last one. Here's the gut or the anger. Okay.
Let's give this another like maybe 10 minutes. Are you able to do that in 10 minutes, James?
Okay, I will speed it up for you guys. I will use my assertive energy. Okay, A's are very protective, very assertive and confident. And the 9s are very easygoing, very peaceful and accommodating. And the type 1s, okay, are very rational, ethical and structured. Now, interestingly, Sean Connery is an 8. But the real James Bond, according to the novel, is a type 7, by the way. But they got a type 8 as the actor. And you can see from the examples I quoted you. All right, and just take a look and read about them on your spare time. Look at the fears of the type 8s. They fear being dominated. Okay. For them, the type 8s need to be in control. Yeah, they want to be in control of their environment and also of themselves. And what's their strength? They are bold, they are very assertive in your face. They are also like type 3s, very action oriented, and they are, okay, in times of trouble, they are like a pillar, okay? They are like a pillar of strength, all right? Under pressure, when you need somebody to stand up, and a warrior, somebody to lead, okay, this is like one of the best person to put on the job, all right? Provided he has all the qualities. Now, the challenges of a type 8, they are perceived as being domineering, sometimes over-empowering, you get scared of them, you dare not approach them, especially when you got a colleague who's too in your face, and you're afraid that you will get on the backside of him and you get scolded, that kind of thing. They may be seen as controlling, and they get angry very, very fast. Okay, this is the thing that a lot of individuals, okay, so working with type A's, maybe they don't have enough experience. A's are like this. They let out the anger, okay, because they are very frank, very forthright. You just let it out, after that, you just forget about it. But those around them hold on to it, unfortunately. Okay, because they have a bad experience. Oh, he got angry with me. He barked at me. Oh, next time I think I'll be careful. But to the 8, it's just at the moment. All right. As long as you learn from the mistake, you have move on. Okay, you don't repeat the mistake. Everything is well and fine. Okay, you can approach him again. All right. And the MBTI. Look at the MBTI. ESTJ, ENTJ, ESTP, ENTP.
The T's.
There are equal amount of P's and J's. Okay. There's the reason why. Okay. You look at the A's. A's can also can go to 2. When the A's go to 2, they actually become more philanthropic.
Yeah.
Very kind, very giving, contributing to charity, speaking up for the poor. All right. Now let's look at the big 5. The assertive A's. There's also the magnanimous A's. That means they are very forgiving kind of A's. What's forgiving A's? When the A's go 2, they also can become very forgiving. Right? So the forgiving ones, okay, again, for the A's to go to 2, there's a lot of self-work. All right. For those A's who are more brash, more in your face, not aware in the beginning, should they have a good coach and good guidance, they can become more type 2. All right. More loving, more gentle, more magnanimous. So you can see there's a low agreeableness in the assertive A's. All right. Because they are more in your face. There's a high agreeableness in the magnanimous A's. Usually A's, they have low neuroticism. Good. Yes.
What do you mean by that low? You got neuroticism.
Neuroticism. It just means that they are not prone to bouts of sadness.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. To them is if there's a problem, okay, they just want to seize control and solve the issues. Yeah. All right. They are like the type 3s. They're also action takers. But at times, some people find them very overbearing because they can hijack the whole project from you. They find that if you are, okay, they perceive you as dumb, not knowing what you're supposed to do, kind of thing, they will get pissed off. All right. And they will hijack the whole project. Yeah. So under stress, what happens? They can become very oppressive, very intimidating, and they can frighten people. And anyone who dares to disagree with them and their motives are usually met with threats. Okay. Sometimes the threats are very real. Yeah. And the last part is they justify their extreme hostility towards their co-workers and their family members. Yeah, they did justify it. I met a type 8, a dear friend of mine, and this is what she said. And she was really angry with her son at one time, for not matching up to her expectations. But being magnanimous, I know what she told me. Had he not been my son. Oops. Oh gosh. Yeah. How to influence a type 8? Match their intensity. Yeah. Sometimes they are very assertive. So to them is this. They give you an example. They can shake hands with you, and they can be like it may seem that they are pushing against you, and they are trying to eat into your space or enter your territory, and I mean it. And sometimes they will assert themselves. So you know what they do? Unconsciously, they are looking for whether you push back. So when they push against you, right, and it's their instinctive behavior. When they push against you, they are actually expecting you to push back. If you don't push back, in their mind is that you are a pushover. Yeah, and to them is that if you push back, I respect you. If you retreat, then they in their mind they might think I may be wrong. Yeah. I feel, I may be wrong also. I feel Robert Kiyosaki is a type 8. Yeah. He always say this, on stage, when he's giving a talk, and especially because he at one time he gave an example. He went to this real estate guy and he told this guy, I want 50% discount. And then the guy start crying,
Yeah.
And he always like to do this on stage, he will do this loser.
He said something. He said one thing. At one time, he said, "Savers are losers." Wow, that was like that was over.
That's the thing about A's. You see, they are very they don't so-called camouflage or their intent. There's no filter. They are very forthright, they're very frank. They say it as it is, and sometimes it's very painful on the receiving end.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
I got I'm not sure about Donald Trump. He does exhibit a lot of 8 traits. Yeah. He's outspoken in his own way, by the way. So there's a debate in America whether it's an 8 or a 3. Yeah. And let's look at this. The next part, where you want to influence it, show respect and upfront, with what you need. All right. Now, when I say pushback, doesn't mean you be rude. Okay, stand your ground.
Yeah.
All right. If you have the facts you're the facts, you know what you're doing. Stand your ground. They will listen. They are not unreasonable. Okay, and use humor. Okay, I can tell you that sometimes when I'm with a company of type A's, I have you have to be prepared for their humor. Sometimes the humor can be rather on the crass side. Okay, yeah. Ladies as well. Okay, ladies as well. Okay. How to coach a type 8? Very easy. Please help them to become more compassionate and just. Basically, when you coach an 8, bring them to a 2. Coach them as if they are type 2. Okay, future pace them into a 2, and then help them to meet their needs. Okay, the 8s are like this. I'm strong. They don't usually tell people what they eat.
My mom like 8. I don't know.
We'll see. Yeah. Okay. Last but not least, the Enneagram type 9. What's their fear?
The one. So
for the Enneagram type 9, the fear is they fear being confronted. Okay, because they are very nice. They're very peace. They're also called peacemakers. Okay, they are usually, they have this thing, about being confrontational. They fear conflict. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't like they dislike this harmony, and they want a connection with people. So if there's any arguments and there's always a lot of drama, you find that you upset them a lot. Okay, and their strengths. What's their strengths? They very accepting, very calming effect. When I give you an example. I've seen type 9s entering a room, where there are 2 parties, in a heated argument, and next thing you know, this type 9 come along and bring about a unbelievable sense of peace. And they are very steady. Okay, they make very good supporters, like the type 6, by the way. And the other thing about them, they make very good mediators. So if you watch Simpson, right, Marge Simpson, Marge Simpson's the fictional character, I feel that she's a type 9. Yeah. And what are the challenges of the type 9s? They're very ambivalent. So sometimes you they are neither here nor there sometimes. So when you're working with them, it's like hey, are you in or you out? Kind of feeling, they many a times when they join a group, right, they want to support a group, but when they in doing that, when they support a group, right, so-called a group agenda, they forget about whose agenda? Their own agenda. Yeah, you find a lot of type 9s in religious organization or charitable organization, supporting a leader or supporting the group's vision. Yeah, and they can sometimes tell jokes that they're self-depreciating. And they have this thing about passive aggressiveness. Okay, example of passive aggressiveness, because they don't like confrontation, right? When you ask them for a favor, they may say yes, but you can see, their expression, they're actually not happy. Yeah, so it's like they sort of say yes, but in a grudging manner. So after that, when you come back a few months later, hey, you promised to do this, but they didn't do it. Yeah, so it's a form of passive aggressiveness, and they are not motivated on working on their personal development. This is quite sad. I met a lot of type 9s. When I mentioned them, I give you an example. I have met fellow coaches who are also Enneagram trained, fellow coaches. I asked them, what's the type of Enneagram type that you don't usually like to take on? 80% of them told me that they don't like to take on a type 9 client.
Why?
The type 9 is like this. They need you to be constantly there. And when you're there, they will work on their goal. When you're not there, they stop working on their goal.
Is it become highly dependent?
Yeah.
They have this, should I say, maybe a codependency kind of thing?
Okay.
Yeah. And this is part of their nature. When left on their own, left to their own devices, they forget about their own personal growth, their own agenda. Yeah, but the funny thing is, when they join a group, they can identify with, they love the vision, or they love the vision of the group or the leader. They will give their 110% to that vision itself. Yeah, but at the end of it, when you ask them, what is it in for you? Oh no, I'm just here to volunteer. Yeah. So they make very, very good team players as well. Yeah, very, very good people to be with. Yeah, and it's very serene to have them as well. And look at them. Let's look at the MBTI. Okay, there are
A lot of
a lot are, yes. They are introverted, yes. And the other thing about them is F is strong. Okay, F is strong. You can see F throughout the 4 MBTIs, right? J and the P are like a split. Yeah. By the way, there's a subtype of type 9s that do become more at times they may become more critical. Okay. Yeah. And that's another, we have more time the next time, alright? Okay. Yeah. So let's look at the big 5, right? The big 5 of the type 9s. In general, I'm talking about in general, they are usually high, they have this high agreeableness and low neuroticism. Okay. So this is my little sharing on the different Enneagram types. And of course, moving on very fast to the type 9s. When they're under stress, they become lethargic, unable to concentrate on the test. Often, they become self-forgetting. They forget about their own goals. As I mentioned, they become lazy. When I say lazy, it doesn't mean that they don't work. Lazy in the sense that they don't work on themselves. Okay. By the way, if you have a number of type 9 friends, you might discover a number of type 9s are on the heavy side.
What do you mean by heavy side?
MPS is big.
Fat.
Okay.
Yeah, they gain weight because a lot of type 9s, they let themselves go. Unless maybe if they are in the uniform group where they have a certain weight or certain physical attribute that they have to match up to, the kind of thing or standards they have to fulfill, if it's part of the job. But I'm talking about in general, a lot of type 9s are on the heavy side. Yeah, because they forget about working on themselves. This includes physical health. Yeah,
this is interesting.
Yeah, and if you look at their passive aggressiveness, okay, it's also a form of stress as well. Yeah, where their yes is rather grudgingly said. Yeah, and to influence them, okay, to build rapport with them, be collaborative because they have a very collaborative spirit about them. Gently bring them back to focus when they drift away. Okay, what do you mean by that? The type 9s have this interesting thing about it. They can be talking to you, and next thing you know, they seem to be going around. You start with your own topic, right? They can divert into A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, right? Up to Z, and then after that, they'll come back to the original topic. Yeah. So many times you got to pull them back and help them to become clear about what's possible by asking questions. All right. Because sometimes when they lose themselves, they don't ask themselves questions anymore. So when I'm with them, right, I will gently prompt them. And my way of coaching the type 9s, most times, because they're very nice people, they're very accommodating, right? They say yes to a lot of things that they don't like doing, or they don't have the capacity to fulfill. I help them find the no behind the yes. All right. Very important as a coach. Because otherwise your client will be overwhelmed. Your type 9 clients will be overwhelmed. They keep on agreeing to people, and next thing you know, people come back to them, hey, you're not accountable. You said yes, but you didn't do. Yeah. And it places even more stress on them. And the last part, to get the 9s out of their comfort zone and challenge them to take some risks. Okay. The best way is to ask questions. From them with questions to bring them back, okay? Bring them back to their situation, to reality. Okay? Don't preach, okay? Don't nag. So use questions to bring them back to focus. Okay, last but not least, the type 1s. Okay.
Why type 1 is the last one?
They belong to the gut group, 8, 9, and 1.
Yeah.
The type 8, 9, and 1. All right. I don't know. Some books, Enneagram books, start with type 1, right? But I'm following the gut. Okay, gut. Okay, the gut has something to do with anger. Okay, let me finish the type 1, then I explain why the type 1s belong to the gut group. All right. Okay, the type 1 has this fear of being wrong. Okay, the type 1s in a lot of Enneagram literature is also called the perfectionists. All right, they are also righteous. Okay, they are rather righteous. And they like to do the right thing. They like to follow rules. Okay, they like certain things in order. So when you have them on your team, fantastic. They are very good accountability buddy, and they keep a very tight ship. Okay, and they are very hardworking, responsible, honest. This is their strengths. They're very dependable, and they have a lot of self-control. Okay, the interesting thing about type is this: they are opposite of the 8. 8 is, if you piss me off, I'll make sure you hear about it. All right, you make me angry, and anger will be directed towards you. Okay, that's an 8. A type 1 is different. A type 1 is most times they're angry with who? Themselves for not meeting their high standards. So they internalize their anger. The 9 is in between. 9 also belongs to the anger group. The 9 is, no big deal lah. So they tend to sweep it under the carpet. Okay, not a good thing, because sometimes when the issues, the emotions start to accumulate, right? It may become a pressure cooker, and one fine day it may explode. Yeah, and they may have outbursts at the wrong person. All right. Yeah. Okay. Moving on very fast. The challenges of the type 1s, they can be overcritical. Okay, because they want to be right. They want to make sure that everything is above board, follow the rules and stuff like that. They can be resentful at times. Okay, they have this anger, but the anger is more internalized. Usually type 1s, they don't have, unlike the 8s, 8s will have outbursts of anger. 1s will, no, it's not right to get angry in public, for example. So they internalize the anger. All right. So they are, at times they are very rigid. Okay, they are not very adaptable. Yes, they are judgmental, especially judgmental towards who? Themselves. And many type 1s that I coach, they repress their anger. Repress their emotions. Yes, not only anger, they also repress their emotions. So many times they're also in self-denial, and they have a very rigid belief system. It's more like black or white, right or wrong kind of belief system. Okay, and look at the MBTI. What's common among all 4 of them? The last one, J.
Yeah.
Okay, the J. Okay, judgmental. Okay, yeah. So it's consistent, with their self-critical, kind of thing. And their big 5 is they are on the high side of conscientiousness. They're very aware, looking out for what's amiss, what's not right, kind of thing. In terms of neuroticism, it's low. And under stress, under stress, they can be very demanding, excessively critical. Okay, that's a type 1 under stress. And they also can go about finding fault with others. Okay, they can find fault with the system. They can find fault with individuals. All right. This is when they are under stress. All right. Normally they don't do that. And what about their, when it comes to influencing your type 1 clients? Use your best manners. Okay. They are very proper. They like to follow decorum. So please be on your best manners and follow the rules. Go through the proper channels. Be prompt and considerate. When you're having a meeting with your type 1, please be punctual or at least come early. They will get very upset when for example, if they are your clients and you have an appointment with them, you're supposed to meet at 4 o'clock and you came like 10 minutes later or even 5 minutes later, they get very upset. Okay. And the thing about them, one of the good ways to build rapport with them and influence them is to use humor. Because humor actually relaxes them. Okay, why use humor? Look at the diagram. 1 can go 7. 7 is the fun-loving guy. 1 and 7 are connected. And the beauty of the diagram is this. It's like somehow our creator who created us, right, knows our strengths and our weaknesses and also our compensating point.
Yes.
Yeah. So the ones can actually go to 7. Why? Because they are very uptight. All right. They have so much rules and rigidity to follow. It's preventing them. They are like a straight jacket. So one of the best ways to help them is to lighten up the spirit. Help them to go 7. And to coach them, help them to integrate fun in their life. Okay, very, very, very important. Help them to explore. In fact, a lot of type 1s, they over the years that I've coached, I encourage them to do somatic work. Somatic work, that means they go and do dance, they go and do yoga, movement kind of therapy. It's very useful for them because it helps them to stretch themselves. It makes them uncomfortable, and very importantly, get them to socialize. Okay. And the last part is help them to explore options. Again, 1 goes 7. Help them to have more choices. Okay, because in their world it tends to be black and white thinking, yes or no, this or that. But if they become a little bit like when they go to 7, right, and they have more choices, more options, then they can perhaps have a backup plan. If A don't work, they can try B. B don't work, they can try C. Yeah. So it's very important you help a client, based on the Enneagram type. And when I look at the Enneagram diagram, oh my, I can tell you, it's like a perfect coaching map. Yeah, because when looking at the arrows, right, I know, okay, when a 1 go to 4, they start to look inside and they start to examine, hey, what's not right with me? Not in a critical way, but to go into their feelings. Yeah, because sometimes the ones, they can actually be very, maybe, should I, for lack of a better phrase, they are sometimes not in touch with their emotions because they are so controlled, They find that, no, it's wrong to have this, to express myself in this manner. It's perceived as wrong. Okay, so they don't express themselves. So when they go to 4, they become more expressive. Yeah. So when I look at the Enneagram map itself for each of the Enneagram types, wow, it's just beautiful. It's just amazing. It's a very powerful coaching map. Okay. So stay in touch. Please scan my QR code. And of course, if you find this video on YouTube and all, hit that like button.
Yeah, smash that like button and hit that subscribe button as well. And wow.
Mind-blowing.
Session of Enneagram with the master Enneagram teacher here. Oh my goodness.
Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen, those watching. Thank you for your patience. As I mentioned, I endeavor to give a balanced view of the Enneagram as much as possible, and again, my reminder, please don't pigeonhole people. All right. And don't use the Enneagram to justify, behaviors that are not acceptable. And most importantly, remember that the Enneagram is a tool to help us find compassion. Yeah, it's a very important, because in this world sometimes we forget that we're actually interacting with a fellow being with their pains, their strife, and whatever they are going through. Because we are not in their body, we don't feel the pain.
Indeed, James. Thank you so much for your precious time in giving this session a great insight and view about the Enneagram. I would say it's pretty detailed.
Yeah, it seems like it's actually very, very detailed.
My last question to you,
Yes.
my last question to you is like, remember that just now I asked about, let's say I'm able to go to 2 to 8, or maybe is it possible that I can have, I can see the 9 is in the middle of the same is like.
Yes, the 9 is very interesting. It's right in the there's a triangle there, right? The 3, 6, and 9 connected.
Right.
Yes.
So is it being yourself also? Sometimes you can be the other side, or sometimes when you are thinking, you are moving to the other side, or whether when you're feeling, you're moving on the other side.
Here's my my little sharing, okay, for my experience in the Enneagram. With some training and guidance, every individual can actually move across the line to tap onto the strengths of that the type itself. By the way, we have all 9 types. We have all 9 types, but one is dominant.
I see.
Yeah, and the Enneagram comes from this belief that we are born with certain types. Yeah, we are born with a certain basic core type. Although 9 essence are there, but one is the predominant one.
Yeah, because I see the weaknesses. Some of them, if I across, I also have.
Yes. Many a times, Enneagram teachers like myself, when especially, let's say you met a totally new person, and of course you find that maybe it's not appropriate to ask the person to do an Enneagram test, or perhaps the person is not too close to you. You can observe them from afar. Observe them when they're under stress. Because when you look at them when they're under stress, right? Then you look at the Enneagram diagram, the stress point. The stress point, you just move backwards. Most likely that's the Enneagram type. Yeah. And back to the 3, 6, 9 is a very interesting thing. Now that you brought it out, maybe I'll just share a quick 1-2 minutes. As I mentioned, the type 9s in the Enneagram community, I found there are a number of coaches that do not want to take on type 9 clients because they find that, hey, by the way, it doesn't mean that their money is no good. All right. They type 9s, the thing about them is once to them is that if they're comfortable with you, they want to continue using your services. Okay. Yeah, because to ask them to change brand or whatever, it's like a confrontation. It's like, oh, it upsets them, So, and they don't want to break the rapport with you if you are a good friend with them after a while, Yeah, because they say, oh no, Nick is so good, I cannot let him down, kind of thing. You continue, yeah. But the thing is that there comes a point sometimes, they need to be independent. You get what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So you need to, the beautiful thing I find about the type 9 is, many a times I will bring them to a tree. You see the 9 can go tree.
Yeah.
And there's something interesting about the type 9. Under low stress, when the type 9 is under low stress, right, they just tend to sit around. Yeah. The local word is the local colloquial Hokkien word is noa. They sit down there and noa. They just they go into inaction under low stress. But the funny thing is that when type 9 is under high stress, you see you see them readily moving to the point 9, from the point 9 moving to 3, and they become a very good action taker. Yes, it's beautiful. I observe this again and again. Another thing when I'm coaching type 6s, a lot of 6s I have in the past helped them to move to a 3. You see the 6 and the 3 and the 9 are connected, right?
Yeah.
The 6 are always doubting themselves at the same time. So in the past I make a mistake actually. I have coached 6s to become 3, to move across to the 3 immediately. Yes, they shine on stage. They became very good motivational speaker. After that, to doubt themselves, and next thing you know, they retreat and nowhere to be found. I discovered a better way to coach a type 6. Go to 9 first. Basically, when I help them to go 9, is to help them to find their spirituality, because 9 is also the spiritual energy. Yeah. So 9 is also called a peacemaker. So I would usually ground them in their faith. Now, be it whatever religion, as long as they have a strong faith in that deity or that great spirit, fantastic. Okay, because to the 6 is this: they are looking for an authority or a more powerful being to should I say protect them? Yeah, because the 6 are fearful, is it? Yeah, so they are, in a sense, they are looking for a higher power, to guide them. So when I'm coaching a 6, right, I move them towards their faith, ground them in their faith, and then it's easier for me to help them to take action at the point 3. So I will go 6 and then go 3, and they are more stable. Yes. So this is another approach that I discovered over the years when I'm coaching a type 6.
Wow, that's really amazing, James. Thanks so much. It's it's like a whole evening of Enneagram.
It's a crash course.
I mean, this is, just me. I mean, I can easily give a 10 minutes Enneagram crash course. Even crasher, even shorter 10 minutes now. Just talk about all the good things about each Enneagram type. You feel good, you know. Oh, then after that, I can identify myself. But the thing is that when I just go into a 10 minutes thing, there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of mistyping, of course, people love you more. You know, they always short and sweet, you know, kind of thing. You know, and finish within 10 minutes, 20 minutes, kind of thing, max. Fantastic. You know. I mean, I to be frank, in the early days when I watched those videos, I love it, you know, because to me it's like short and sweet, and then it gets to the point. However, I just can't get over the fact that
You need to explain more in details.
yeah, I just felt that I'll be disappointing my teacher, Claudio, if I just give a very cookie cutter kind of Enneagram
It
information.
doesn't bring the justice out of it.
Yeah, because to my teacher, it's his life work. It's really his life work. He dedicated his whole life, like 50 years of his life, into this creating this body of knowledge. And I felt, you know, to honor him, this is one of the best ways to give a more detailed, okay, not so much as to overwhelm or to try to impress you guys, but to give you a glimpse, you know, of what the Enneagram can do, what it represents, how can it help you and your clients, and to help have the compassion, you know, to move forward in your life. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Fernando. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Frederick. Thanks for your time again. Yeah. It's an honor to be on your show.
Yeah,
It's our honor.
Yeah, really appreciate you and your time and taking your precious time and busy schedule to be with us, explaining the Enneagram in detail some more. And it's like, wow, this is like a whole evening of insights that's filling me up. And the rest of my guys here, I don't know about.
It helps. We can actually adjust, and it helps the person for us, because I'm doing lifestyle. Frederick is doing the astrology, and then Mandd is doing the those conscious and subconscious. So basically, help us to think otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah, so I use a lot of theta therapy on my method.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Like, good to meet a kindred spirit here.
All right. Okay, so I guess we've come to the end of the show. We're gonna end the show, and we will be posting the next episode up with a new title. It's gonna be on Friday? Yeah, next Friday. Yeah. So we will get the EDMs, the announcement up pretty soon. And of course, really want to thank Dr. James Leong here for his amazing time with us tonight and this evening. Wow, 2.5 or maybe close to 3 hours of our talk. Oh my goodness, this is the longest ever live show that we posted of all the episodes. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I didn't expect that, to be honest. And this is going to be so content filled. It's going to be split into parts to make it bite sized for people to understand. Yeah.
Yeah, then we will make sure that we actually will put your detail, because I believe when you say there's a 27 sub personality, people who really wanted to go deep inside there as well.
Definitely. And for those of you guys who out there who are really interested to know the Enneagram in detail, you can look up for Dr. James Leong here. He is the master, he's the teacher for anything that you want to know about Enneagram. Okay, so let's go and contact him, go to his LinkedIn, scan his QR code right there. I guess you can rewind and then see that QR code there and scan it there. Or maybe we'll just include the link down below in this live video. And so if you're interested, go look for him, find him, have a good coffee chat with him, and there you go. Yeah, and good night, everybody. Really thank you for your attention, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Have a good evening.
Yeah, you too. Okay, ciao.
Yeah.
Ciao, bye.